well, welcome back. We welcome in this episode Lana, who has returned after a long hiatus from player Noel, who has been hard at work. And we are very excited to have her back for this session and hopefully many more sessions to come. So we pick up where the crew left off in this episode entitled Fun Facts About Rats. Pulling into the harbor of Greylock after their grand victory over the Squid Wizard and the basic pillaging of his entire horde. The city is not much changed and yet somehow worse for wear, as if that were possible. How will the crew choose to deal with it? You'll have to find out. We hope you enjoy.
We're off to adventure to go roll the dice. Come seize your advantage and you'll roll them twice. Even if we lose our way, we'll make a journey someday. Something awaits you, so anchors away. Who knows what role you'll play? Who knows what role you'll play?
And we're off.
Yay! Okay. So everyone, welcome our new player Noel.
I know.
Hi guys, it's really nice
I
to be
know.
here.
She brought her own level 13 character. I hope that's okay.
Can you
So-
share 3 fun facts about yourself?
I want you to know I just viscerally stopped myself from lecturing about catheters again.
I was going to say, I'm waiting for catheters to come up. It's fun facts, Noel. Fun
All right.
facts.
Only fun facts.
So after my my appendectomy, that was a horrible, miserable failure.
How do you fail an appendectomy? Do you still have your appendix?
No, I would be long dead if that were the case. It blew up on its own. It was it ruptured before I hit the table. And my understanding is that you're supposed to. It was supposed to be a lapendectomy. And my understanding is if it ruptures, you're supposed to abort the lapendectomy and go to an or the laparoscopectomy and go to an appendectomy. My surgeon decided not to, so I ended up getting horrible pneumonia and almost died from his fuck up anyway.
Jesus.
And so I'm lying in the hospital week 1. I remember I had actually no, it was week 2 because I don't remember week 1 at all. Way too much morphine. Let's tell you how bad it was. It was not an overnight stay. It was a week later. It was like a month and a half of 2 different hospitals. But my second week, where I can start remembering things, my mom sat on my catheter, and it really upset me.
Oh,
Oh God!
Jiggy, no!
That's kind of a
It's supposed to
fun
be
fact, I
anchored
guess.
to your. It's supposed to be anchored to your thigh. How?
Because it was a hospital that was really, really bad, and all the nurses were on strike, so it was even worse.
Oh my God! That is like step 1: anchor to the thigh. So that
Oh.
can't happen.
Yeah, it was.
Oh.
There was a time
Oh,
I woke up.
God.
There was a time I woke up in that hospital because my roommate and I agreed that because the nurses will not come if only one person presses the button, that if any of us needed the nurse, we just both slammed the nurse button. And he just got over some like really bad spinal surgery, so he was worse off than I was somehow. And I had the room by the door, and one day he's like, wakes me up in the middle of the night. He's like, "Hey John, buddy, press the button. I really need a nurse." Yeah, okay. So I'm pressing the button. I'm next to the door in a morphine-induced crazy state. Everything was dark. No one's coming. All I hear up and down the halls are just people calling for nurses and screaming. It was like not even screaming words, just like it was like Silent Hill.
Oh,
I was
Lord.
it was terrifying.
These are not fun facts. None of these are fun. None of these are fun at all.
It's fun because I
can tell you-
survived it all.
Well, I'm glad you did, but it's not
I can
fun.
tell you about my clinical rotation at a nursing home. There's only fun stories there.
Old man poop stories. No one needs that. I've got enough of those of my own.
No, those are the happier stories.
I think we're going to call this episode #FunFact. I think it's the only the only time.
Glad to have everybody back.
Yay! God. Yeah, I don't need any old age home stories. I just lived one not recently. I don't need to go back. Thank
Sounds
you.
like a story time.
No, that's okay. That's where I spent my rehab.
Hi, baby, hi.
No,
That's
thank
Matt.
you.
Oh no!
What?
Sympathy.
Yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't great at all. I'm happy to be home. Very happy to be home. Okay, are we done with fun fact time?
I
guess.
My lord. God. No,
I don't know. I don't feel like I had fun.
I was just gonna say, I think the fun quotient was pretty low, but they're definitely fat.
If you're one of the children in the chocolate factory, it's not. If you're Willy Wonka, it's amazing.
That's true. Very true. All right. Oh. Technically, you guys are in downtime. You're on your ship and you're traveling to Greylock. So if there is any additional downtime stuff you would like to do, now is the time to do it. If you want to change plans and detour, now is the time to speak.
I want to
Given we were still
identify the
detouring
ship.
when I was last here 6 months ago.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you want to identify the mysterious Altoidments.
Everything in your bag. Just dump it all out on
Oh
the deck.
god.
Let's go through
Okay.
it.
There's actually not too much in here because of that time I accidentally put the Sphere of Annihilation in here.
Oh
But
yeah, I remember that.
yeah, there's still skin. I still have skin. We don't need that identified. I have some unreadable dwarven books. Quote, weird metal glue. That is so old. I have no idea what that is anymore. It's just in there. It's like mysterious old Elmer's glue that you find at the back of the cabinet. A snake coin, which was just a coin with a snake on it. I have the earring we took off the pig head that turned out to be a real human head. I have the Altoid mints. I have the painting. And then I have a painting of Lily.
Where'd you
I
get
have
that?
some diamonds from the other painting.
No.
I wish I was joking. I'm not. Some, quote, beholder gems. I still have the Sphere of Annihilation listed on here. I assume someone else has been carrying that. I certainly wasn't carrying it inside of the bag. There are 2 turtle potions. Some gilded trinkets, some scroll cases, some orange gemstones, a couple of magic scrolls that we did identify, the quote concerning Temlakos things, and a bunch of other magic items that we have previously identified. I know what most of this crap is.
So the unreadable dwarven book, is it just unreadable because it's in dwarven, or
Yeah, maybe.
because I can read dwarven?
This is from like 3 arcs ago, when we took it out of that one guy's hideout.
I believe the unreadable dwarven books were unreadable because they were damaged, not because they were.
Oh, okay.
That makes more sense.
Well, we can probably just throw those over the side of the boat then.
Works for me. Kindling.
Wait, maybe they're magic. I'll check if they're magic first.
Okay, they're not magic. They're just.
All right.
books.
Kindling.
Wait.
Are you gonna just huck them into the ocean?
Well, I guess we don't have to. We could just put them back in the bag. It's a big bag.
It is a big bag.
You
We can just
could,
keep it there forever.
or you could throw it into the ocean. You do you.
If we throw it into the ocean, we'll never have to wonder what these unreadable dwarven books are again.
That's a good reason for holding on to it. Maximize our suffering. Here, throw it.
All right, back in the bag.
Oh.
Oh my god.
I
just,
think-
just pick one.
Should we vote on it?
Oh my gosh.
Consider
I'll
They're
just
back
pick the
in there.
books.
Moving on.
I'm throwing the books in the ocean. The ocean.
No, we're loot whores. We keep them.
They're already in the ocean. I hurled them way out there too. I tried to throw them into space, but it didn't go that far.
I've got water walk. I'll retrieve them.
Oh god.
All right. So they've been
Next
hopped.
item.
Next item. What's up next?
Genuinely, I think most of this stuff's been identified. It's pretty much just the Altoid mints. We lost
Alright.
most of the mystery stuff to the sphere.
Let's identify those then.
Okay. So the Altoid mints are they are marked with abjuration and are generally beneficial. They seem to be buffs, but the magic keeps shifting. So while they do, again, appear to be beneficial in nature, it is difficult to ascertain what it is they exactly do. It could be heals, it could be shield, it could be a number of various positive benefits. But every time you think you've got a lock on what a particular mint will do, it changes.
All right, so back in the bag.
Pretty much.
Mystery coins. Make a note that they're deliberately mysterious, I guess.
I will change it to mystery mints.
Oh yeah, mints, whatever.
Yeah, you're
How
not
many of those do we have?
6.
Okay.
I believe we also have potions of turning people into a turtle. I have 2 of those.
Like just a small turtle?
They are listed as turtle potions, and I take that notes. I
take a
believe it's a
closer
small
look
turtle.
to see what kind of turtle you turn into.
I love the potions of turtle. They're potions of polymorph, is what they are.
Are we polymorphing turtles?
We have 2 of those?
Correct.
Okay, those are good. Label them correctly.
They've been labeled as turtle potion, which was pretty accurate. They potions of polymorphing into only turtles.
Oh, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or the boring variety?
Very small snapping turtle.
No, well, it could be more boring, but it could be way cooler.
You could be way cooler.
Oh,
Aww.
crap.
Low blow.
Although I'm talking with my secret society about how I could be living in a lighthouse, and if I lived in a lighthouse, I would be way cooler. So you're right.
That is true. Living in a lighthouse, unless you've seen the lighthouse, and then
We were just talking about that.
I love that movie. It's such a good movie.
I'm talking to my good twin, and it's like, yeah, we can live in a lighthouse together, just like in that Willem Dafoe movie.
No, let's not do the Willem Dafoe movie. No. Things went terribly wrong there. Great movie, but oh boy. All right. Anything else you'd like to identify on your travels?
No, for the rest of my downtime, I want to finish that fire gem thing I was talking about to sock it into Davynn's weapon as soon as I find a magical weapon maker.
Yes.
And when I'm done that, I'll work on doing the prep work for having this dragon skull spit acid.
Okay. Now again, your lab and you know slash Lily's lab, your shared lab, was pretty badly messed up, but you can actually overcome that. So just pointing that out there.
I'll clean up the lab, I guess, and then work on that.
Okay. Because I know Lily was going to use her Eldritch workshop ability to get around that.
I'll clean up the lab. Now it's my lab now.
If you're kicking Lily out.
Dibs.
And if Lily has any objections, she can say something in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. You got something to say? Say it now.
I'm putting up a no girls allowed sign on the door.
That sounds about right. Other than that, Kern is doing the driving and navigating. Zachary wanders down on occasion, usually wearing something ridiculous. She hasn't told you what loot she's come up with, but Noel, for just for your information. She has come down from the crow's nest at various points wearing a monocle or using a monocle, just to great pantomimed effect of gentility as she peers at each of you through this monocle. It's happened a couple times. She also has a massive bejeweled, like almost full face helmet that she occasionally wears when she comes down. And you've seen her wear at least one robe as she strolls.
Can't believe you let her get all the stuff, you guys.
Well, you can try to get it back. I mean, you're the charming one.
No. I know my limits. Also, get it back. You gave it to her.
We didn't. She took it.
She just walked away
yeah,
with it,
that's
really.
Yeah, exactly.
She just sort of kept it. And you do also have the ambassador on board. The ambassador is staying in Kern's room because he gave up his room because that's the kind of guy that he is.
Oh.
Now Kern's like me. He doesn't have a bedroom on the ship.
No, Kern gave her the captain's room.
Exactly. And Hildreth doesn't have a bedroom either. So now
that's right. You have to sleep in the hold.
We can snuggle and
you guys can
share
have
a hammock.
Slumber parties in the hold. Yay! No, he was being gentlemanly and he gave her the captain's room. So, because you guys don't have a whole lot of guest rooms, or any, actually. You also don't have a whole lot of food or other provisions, since a lot of those got damaged in the fight with the dragon turtle and then sat while you guys were dealing with the cult and the heart of the forest. But eventually you do make your way to Greylock. It is clearly visible from offshore. Not currently on fire, as far as you can tell. As far as you can tell. But there are other evidence. Oh man, I can move that all the way down here. There is other evidence of Orem nearby. Its ships are still quite visible, hovering outside port, and there are not signal fires, but campfires that are clearly visible. I'm leaving this up because I refuse to take care of your drawings anymore.
Well, there's new ones since I was last here.
Yes. I'm sure there are. But yeah, so Orem is still here. And appears to still be encamped outside of the city. Best you can tell.
Do they have the harbor blockaded or anything?
No, it's not blockaded. They're just close.
All right. I guess we'll just sail into port. Sort of glare at them as we pass.
Glare at the distant ships as you go by. Flipping the bird.
Yeah.
All right. So you make your way into port. Are we adding our boat now? Great. Huzzah.
Make sure you get the dragon skull.
Yes, you can get your skull mounted. So you come pulling into port with this, massive skull attached to your ship.
We like subtlety in this part.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, you're met with, half a dozen fairly burly dock workers, all tattooed up one side and down the other. Most of them armed because they don't recognize your ship with its giant skull on the front.
Why would that be important?
So you get slightly accosted as you secure yourself in the docks itself. Is that current?
By who?
Just they're there to meet you. There's a lot of shouts and a lot of who goes there sort of thing. They don't recognize the ship as bashed up and augmented as it is.
Hi, it's us. Don't worry about the skull. We're friendly.
I'm curious what else is being drawn on this boat. Oh, there's a pirate flag. Very nice. Oh,
are we sailing into port with a pirate flag up?
No,
you guys don't have a pirate flag.
Okay, I was very concerned.
No, you don't have a pirate flag. You just have a giant dragon skull.
This party,
Don't worry, we're pirates, but just like the friendly kind.
You're only pirates when you're in Lorehold. Come on.
It says Jack Dangerous TM in the corner.
Jack Dangerous TM. So seeing that, the approaching vessel, the mooring vessel is indeed the diplomats in service of Her Grace from Karak on an ambassadorial mission, and not some ragamuffin crew set to, ram them with their dragon skull prow. They settle and welcome you back. The shipwright rushes over, deeply concerned about the state of the vessel, and I'm sure Kern and the shipwright will be engaging in a long and involved conversation about how to restore her to her original glory. As they fret and cluck and investigate every splintered board and buckled all bone. Yeah, I'm sure they will. That this is going to be a bit of a therapy session, I think, for Kern, where you can talk about what's happened to his beautiful boat. But the rest of you are obviously free to go. You have the ambassador with you, Rusalito, and Sakri is still in the crow's nest.
All right, Sakri, I'll beckon for her to come down.
Will come down gingerly.
Use your thing, your place of power thing.
What?
The thing we killed the squid wizard for.
Ah! Use it how? What do you want me to do?
I don't know. What is it again? Is it like a metal or a gem or what is it?
It's a stone. Yeah, it's a glowing stone.
Okay, well, I mean, you don't know how to use it?
I could figure it out.
We've had this whole long boat voyage. What have you been doing up there if not figuring out how to use your shit?
I got a lot of stuff I've been going through, okay? She reaches into her pocket, whips out that monocle, flips it out like an opera glass, peers at you through it. What does that even do?
I think it.
Figured it out yet.
I just assumed it let you see us naked.
No, unfortunately.
That would make
no.
sense.
No.
As Hildreth there doing a JoJo pose.
What are you saying, Noel?
No, carry on.
No, we have not brought Sakri to Greylock before. She was not eager to come here, but
Yeah, I wonder why that could be.
yeah. She should probably stay on the ship, but we need her to use her thing.
Use how?
Well, give it to me. Look, I'll use it.
No, you keep it back. It's mine.
Then figure out how to use it and use it, please.
She takes it out of her pocket and holds it out in the palm of her hand. Work, please.
Dear God. Look, I'm an artificer. I'm like magic shit is my thing. Just let me borrow it.
Give me a deposit.
What do you want?
Something you like. Something you'll come back for.
I like Davynn.
Why am I currency? I'm not currency.
He is fun and cute. But no, something more valuable.
Thank you.
Hildreth?
Also fun and cute. But I don't think you'll come back for him.
Striking another JoJo pose. Hoo-ha!
Give me.
How about, what do I got? How about this bird coin?
What's it do?
It's got a bird on it.
Just kind of tilts her head at you.
I've had it forever. It's got sentimental value. I don't even know what it does. I don't even know why I have it. It's a mystery.
I know why you have it.
I know why you have it.
What does it do?
Zachary does it. Doesn't do
Nothing.
It doesn't do anything. She'll take it.
Wait, really?
She doesn't know. She has no idea what it does.
Okay.
She wasn't there.
Zachary, do you value a random coin that you found more than either me or Hildreth?
Right now, yes.
Well, it's got a bird on it.
It does have a bird on it. The man has a point.
I've got a bird on me.
That's true.
Yes.
Hildreth makes another good point.
True.
Anyway,
Okay.
there's your coin. Let me have your thing.
Mm-hmm. So she, same time.
Yeah.
We'll trade for a coin. And she put the coin in her pocket. And she starts heading back to the mast to climb up to the crow's nest and calls over her shoulder. If you don't come back for it, I'm going to burn your boat down.
Okay.
I'm serious.
I know.
From the sidelines, you just hear Curran yelling, "No, not okay!"
Curran's taking psychic damage at the back of the boat. All right, so you got your stone. You're back in Greylock. The ambassador has witnessed this exchange.
Filling them with confidence.
Yeah, shuffling from foot to foot.
If she hasn't already lost confidence after spending so long with us on the boat, then I don't know what she's been doing.
No, that's a very good point. Actually.
She's been very polite. She's been very polite this entire time. Basically, she has no other ride. She'll very gently clear her throat.
So I guess you want to go talk to the church guys. Or Nisali. Should we take you to Nisali or the church people?
I imagine I should go to the conclave first.
Right. Okay.
I'm happy to walk the city on my own.
No, we'll escort you. It was our job. It was our thingamajig. Our quest to bring you. So we'll bring you.
Okay.
I think we actually made pretty good time from.
You did.
Well,
honestly,
we got hung up at the cult island.
You were okay because ships were getting attacked anyway. So the fact that you even made it in back in relatively good time is commendable. Because Greylock lost 2 ships that you know of just traveling there before you guys sort of wrecked face on your way. So
we do tend to do that.
You guys had made better time than the usual transport back and forth from Greylock. But some time has passed, as is clearly evident by the number of ships that have stationed themselves outside the harbor.
All right, let's go.
Okay. You're taking the ambassador to the conclave?
Yep. Everyone's coming, right?
Well, not Kern. Kern's gotta...
No, Kern and Lily, I guess, are staying behind.
Yeah, Kern will work on his boat. Lily can work in her workshop.
But everyone else?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
All right. Make your way through the city. and things are a little tense. As you might imagine. There does seem to be a more pronounced military is probably not the right word because Greylock doesn't really have a military per se. They have a lot of church soldiers out and about, all marked in their different tabards and sigils.
Oh shit! I forgot to mention we put all our magic shit in the smuggling compartments. Just
Yes, you did.
okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that was
Continue.
Kern's idea. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Isn't that like the entire party?
All of our most recent magical acquisitions.
Got it.
Yeah. For that reason. Because didn't want to tip anybody off, I guess. So you are able, but I mean, you're able to walk through the city. It's not like the Templars are accosting anybody. It's just it's a very pronounced difference from the last time you were here. There is very clearly an uptick in security since you were here last. You can make it to the conclave, no problem. There are some whispers as you guys go by. You are to the point where you are actually getting actively noticed in public by random individuals, not just the ones that are attending plays, but folks in general as you go through the crowd.
In a good way?
Yeah, it's noticeable. It's very much a fanboy kind of thing. It's certainly not aggressive, but no one approaches you either. So it's kind of an odd an odd change from the last time you were here, where you were recognized mostly by people that frequented.
Wanted to stab us?
Well, that too, but in general, last time you were here, the folks that attended the plays, that were more kind of theater-going folks, they were the ones who recognized you more often, and even then, it was difficult because your stage counterparts were sometimes not precisely true to form. Whereas now it seems like the general public recognizes you as you in the flesh, and so yeah, something's been going on to make you a little more recognizable to the average person. So you can make your way to the conclave though unmolested. And the conclave is doing what it usually does. You have to make your way through the small little group of lawyers and everything up front, who all sort of hush.
I love this song.
As you enter, I do too.
Yeah,
sort of hush as you come in, and again, no one really stands in your way, but you're obviously watched.
Before we get there, I would just want to say to the others, so if you could just keep it on the down low that I've switched gods. I think Grannon will probably serve us better if they think that I'm still with that guy.
I'm sure we won't be the issue.
It sounds a bit deceitful.
Well, I'm just saying, don't bring it up unless it comes up organically, I guess.
We won't.
Fair enough.
All
Anyway.
right. So, like I said, no one really stops you from going where you need to go. And of course, you have the ambassador with you, which helps out a lot. You're not even stopped when you get to the main doors at the back to enter the older part of the conclave. They let you right into the waiting area without even a second glance, really. They seem to be used to you by now. So you make your way back to the round, open waiting room area with its different outshoots into a myriad of tunnels of bureaucracy. And after a minute or two, it wasn't terribly long, of standing under the massive chandeliers and listening to the footfalls echo on the stone walls, a very small man, a good 5'1", 5'2", human comes scurrying up. He's got all the officiousness of a page who thinks he's more important than he truly is. But he greets you all with a very curt nod and welcomes you back to the conclave, ambassadors.
Well, we're glad to be back. I will ask the person that we brought with us. Is there a specific person that you're trying to meet?
I was told to meet with the leader of the conclave, but at the time of the writing of the letter that hadn't been settled yet. So she kind of looks from you, Davynn, to the page. That would be High Protector Common Brook.
Wait, that's the head of the Realist Church.
Yes, sir.
God fucking damn it.
He kind of looks at you for a second.
What he means to say is, that's unfortunate. Nailed it.
Paige's face sort of pinches up. I can take you to the temporary meeting space, ambassadors, if that's to your liking.
Sure. Okay, but when we left the city, weren't there 3 people in charge? Wasn't it Realist Man, Drennan person, and someone else? Or am I misremembering?
Well, I'm not entirely sure when you left exactly, but the Conclave did decide on a 3-person Regency board. High Protector Common Brook was elected. The High Justice sat as a replacement until Ambassador Leto, and he sort of nods in her direction, arrived, and the third party was still being decided.
So that's separate from the head of the Conclave. The head of the Conclave is like a
yes.
Different... Okay.
The head of the Conclave is the High Justice. The Conclave is just the name of sort of the ruling body of churches. And it takes place in the Temple of Grennan because they're considered to be apolitical. They're strictly rule of law folks. They don't have any leanings one way or the other. So this is where they usually have large, it's sort of the common ground. People can come and have large meetings there and arbitration and things like that, but they generally don't weigh in on political decisions, which is why the High Justice was standing as the third member until the ambassador got there. So now that she's there, it'll be her and then the other 2 that were voted in, and Common Brook got voted in pretty quickly. That was decided almost before you left.
Okay.
Unfortunately. He has a lot of pull. As does the Church of Rildis. The Church of Rildis is also affiliated with the Argent Order and the Bandit Brigade. So the closest thing that Greylock has to an official military power is heavily aligned with the Church of Rildis, which is the second closest thing that Greylock has to an official military power. Okay.
All right.
Okay. You still mad?
So nothing has changed basically since, like, he hasn't seized power or anything.
No, not that you can tell.
Okay.
And the page doesn't seem to give you that impression.
Okay.
So yes, you are headed back to what is basically a conference room that has been changed. It's not the grand hall that you guys were in before with all the chairs of the different heads of religion and, like, it's just massive grand affair. Now this room is like an AV room that's been turned into an office room very hastily. There's very little pomp and circumstance in this tiny room. But it does serve as the head of the Regency for now. And High Protector Common Brook, as well as his 2 bodyguards, definitely here, as is the High Justice. The third person, though, is not exactly who you guys were expecting. When you left, it was kind of up between the Seer of Inaline and the High Priestess of Keller Ellenball. But the third person in the room is neither of those, is actually the lead of the Church of Daralai. Mystic Alice Cleaves, surname. She appears to have overtaken both the Seer and the High Priestess of Keller Ellenball as the third choice.
Do we know anything about her?
Not really. She was pretty quiet when you guys were in front of the Conclave. She didn't seem to be on your side necessarily. She didn't really seem to be on anybody's side. She was kind of dismissive, not super friendly.
Gotcha. A centrist.
Or the secret bad guy. Darelai is all about shadows, isn't she?
Depends on who you ask. Darelai is technically the Temple of Knowledge, but that also indicates secret knowledge, and there are plenty of things that the Church of Darelai hides in its libraries. It's also the one that kicked out the Temple of Nenemeth.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The last time we checked on them, they were, closing out Balin and maybe keeping her hostage or something.
They didn't have her excommunicated, but they came real close. Yeah, they stripped her of all of her authority. She wasn't allowed to sit at the conclave.
She should have thought about that before following the wrong god, obviously.
Clearly. Yeah. Yeah, the Church of Darelai does a lot of good things, but they are not necessarily friendly. They're just much quieter about it. So Mystic Cleaves is the third member. As you guys reach the chamber, everyone in the room looks up, all three and their attendants look up, and the High Justice stands to welcome you formally. Does so. She has been officious but kind during your previous dealings with her, and that's very much the excuse me one moment. I have to take this call. Give me 1 second.
Okay. We are now.
Cool. Okay, so we're all back. Yes, the High Justice greets the ambassador first, and then you in general. She says she's going to take the ambassador to a back room and just sort of like get her caught up on what the Regency has been talking about. She thanks you for your service. I'm glad that you are whole and hale. And says that she will be in contact later should you need her. And then she and the ambassador do leave the room through a back door, leaving you in this tiny room with the High Protector and the Mystic, who both eye you warily.
All right, so was there anything else?
And the High Protector speaks first. And again, to remind you, Arthur Commonbrook is basically like Davynn's high fantasy ideal. He is very shiny. He's very blonde. He's very knight in shining armor. He's a handsome guy. He's kind of he's probably in his 30s, early to mid 30s. He speaks very, very calmly. He's got a lot of charisma about him. He just wasn't particularly friendly the last time you saw him. So he speaks for the both of them. The Mystic seems to be on the quieter side. And he too thanks you for your service to the realm, for bringing the ambassador back unscathed, that there had been reports of pirates and other banditry along the trade route, that your bravery, tales of your bravery were brought back with at least some of the refugees who managed to make it home, and that you've definitely done Greylock well. Did you encounter any further issues on your way home?
Well, let's see. There was a dragon. There was a dragon turtle. There was a squid wizard.
You don't have to tell him about the squid wizard.
Okay, there was a squid, a normal squid. And let's see, what was the last one? Oh, right, yes, there was an evil tree. But like a misunderstood evil tree.
There was that uprising at the the keep or whatever. The Eclipse Point, was that what it was called?
Eclipse Hold, yeah.
Eclipse Hold.
The point I'm trying to make here is that yes, we had to deal with a lot of stuff.
Do we get paid?
I'm sure the Order can compensate you. That is who you work for, correct?
The Argent Order?
Yes.
I would say that we work for the good of Greylock and not necessarily for the Order, but yeah. Sure, why not?
Oh, good deeds are their own reward, after all.
That's
Right,
not
I was-
who
I was-
work for.
What was that, Hildreth?
That's not who I work for. I'm just along for the ride. I don't want anyone getting any strange ideas that I'm going to do things I'm not.
That's fine. I was more just asking because I wasn't sure if we got paid or not. Not that I was asking for money. Just
Isn't
Well-
that what you were doing?
no, it seemed like that was a good opportunity after Davynn listed all the things we'd done to ask for a
Everyone here
raise
just-
if we got paid.
Everyone here just heard you ask for money. What do you mean you didn't ask for money?
I was asking if we get paid. I wasn't asking if we get a salary. Like, I wasn't saying please give me money.
That's just what it sounded like to me. I'm sorry.
Right.
It did
So
kinda
this
come
is
off-
me
come across that
clarifying.
way, yeah.
I'm clarifying my point now.
Okay, good.
Basically, what Davin said though, we're champions of the people. We don't really work for the Argent Order. So if we have to give up our pay to make that distinction, that's fine.
Sure, the Order will absolutely compensate you. I admit ignorance as to the nature of your relationship with Her Grace, other than she promoted you to your positions without going through the proper channels. But I'm sure the Order will be able to answer any and all of your questions. Is there anything the Regency can do for you, since Her Grace is indisposed?
I was hoping to visit Her Grace.
Well, you are welcome to do so if you can get her to open the door.
Okay. What else? Could you fix our ship?
Is it damaged?
Very.
I'm sure arrangements could be made.
Oh wait, never mind. We'll take care of that.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna just. Yeah, we're done. We're good.
A high protector kind of nods and smiles. Well, if there is anything that the Regency can do for any of you, looking at Davin in particular, do feel free to visit us again. We should be meeting here until other arrangements can be made with Karacht. And then you'll find us there.
It feels like you had some special significance towards me. Could you clarify that?
I just remember you visiting us once upon a time.
That was different. That was a different little boy, a different potato man.
Don't think
Right.
so.
I recall I remember like confessing something, and then it kind of seemed like the priest who I was talking to was going to turn me into the cops or something.
I find that difficult to believe. I must admit I never heard anything about a confession, but I was told that you'd visited us here once upon a time before your storied career as an adventurer and now ambassador for our fair city, and I was simply proud to have that association.
Actually, there is one more thing.
Yes,
Kat, how's she doing? Can we get in to see her?
Cat. Ah, the captain. The captain, I don't believe, is accepting visitors at the moment. I can check on that for you if you like.
You don't think she's accepting visitors, so she gets to dictate which visitors she takes? So
Well,
her condition has improved? She's not being held in a prison anymore?
she is no longer in the prison. That is correct. Her condition, whatever it may be, has worsened, and she's been given over to the medical staff.
Who is in charge of the medical staff?
We are.
Okay, out of the game. What was the name of that weird doctor guy who was possibly running experiments on her?
Well, you don't know. You don't technically know.
We don't know his name? No.
Not really. Because she doesn't know his name.
Well, I would like to formally request a visit with Captain Cat, I guess.
Okay. I'm sure we can make that arrangement, assuming she's up to visitors. Last I heard, she was not at her best. Is there anywhere I can send word to the order, or do you have other lodgings?
We'll stay on the ship.
The ship.
I don't know about you, but I plan on sleeping on like a proper bed.
Well, I'll be on the ship.
We will send word to your ship then. As soon as we can. As soon as we can check with her. Was there anything else we could do for your ambassadors?
Anyone else have anything?
No, I think that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We thank you for your service, and we will send word as soon as we have it.
All right.
Okay, but like, Kat likes us, so she'll probably say yes. Just so you know.
I will make it a point to impress upon her it is you who's making the request.
Yeah, she likes us. Or I think she does. She at least does not dislike us. She may dislike us, come to think of it.
I don't think
she would say
likes
yes.
me.
She would say yes.
Let's hope you're right.
Probably likes Hildreth. Everyone likes Hildreth.
Well, how could you not like Hildreth? Okay. So again, this entire conversation, the Mystic hasn't really said anything. It's all been the High Protector talking. So he kind of gives you a smile and attends to his paperwork once again. If there's nothing else.
Oh, how's Gale? I asked the Mystic.
I'm sorry, who?
Gale something? He was actually, maybe he left your church, I forget.
Gale Hartney?
Oh yeah, that's it. Gale Hartney. He was like a low-level scribe type.
You're talking about the Lesser Lord Hartney.
Yeah, that's it.
He's no longer in the order, I'm afraid. He has gone into politics full-time with his brother.
Politics? What's he doing in politics?
I don't follow politics myself.
Wait, hold on. His brother was from Orem, right?
He had more than one brother.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, he had 3.
Well, which brother then?
I can't say. I don't typically pay much attention to those who leave the order.
Okay.
I assume he's at his manor, or close there too.
Right, well, we'll be around if you need anything.
And the High Protector pipes up. We'll be sure to make use of you.
Yeah.
Smiles.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
I don't know if I like the way he phrased that.
No, me neither. No, he's gonna fucking sacrifice us or something.
He is the High Protector of a lawful good church.
He's gonna sacrifice us to his lawful good god.
Lawful
We're
good God,
provocateurs,
made the
agents of
sacrifice.
chaos.
Whatever. So suspicious.
All right.
Yeah.
So after we've left, I'll sort of, like after we've left completely, I'll sort of draw the others to the side of the street or whatever and say, okay, so I think we need to get a better read on the situation here. I remember that Keller Ellenval person, the elf church leader, had kind of you had tea with her, didn't you, Hildreth?
You mean with Umaveris?
If that's her name?
Then yes.
So she was sort of a front runner for this position that the Mystic got. So maybe you could check in with her and see what went down there, because it seems a little bit fishy. I don't know. What do you think of that?
I was going to stop in and say hello anyway, so
Okay.
I can drop the conversation.
Okay, cool. So Davynn, if you're not going to stay on the ship, we should probably get the sending stone from Kern and give it to you so that we can keep in touch. Because I imagine Kern's going to be staying on the ship.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Also, we should check in on Nisali, although I imagine her condition is probably going to be pretty much the same. Also, we should use this stone.
Which one?
The
we
one
have lots of stones.
The Sacri one. The one that detects places of power.
Sacri stone.
I don't know. At some point, we should probably check in on Gale, but that seems a ways down the list.
We should also probably make sure that Sacri isn't starting a revolution in here as well. I know that I tried to do that at one point.
I don't think she'll leave the boat, but I think she's too scared of Greylock to cause much trouble here. I could be wrong, though. Is there anything else we should get up to right away? How can we find out, like, does anyone have any alternate ideas of how we can figure out Kat's condition other than going through proper channels, which I don't know.
I imagine we would want to get our own doctor to examine Kat.
That checks out.
You're a doctor, aren't you, Hildreth, kind of?
Not even close, but I do have some medical propensities.
Can you diagnose things?
I can pretend to.
I don't think that'll fly.
They won't know any better, will they?
No, but for our information, is like it doesn't do us any good if you're pretending to us.
Oh, you want me to really see her condition?
Yeah.
I can give it a shot. I won't pretend I'm a healer of great skill, but I know my way around the occasional disease or illness, or wound, or gash, or giant ruptured hole in the middle of someone's chest where their beating heart and ribcage used to be. Intestines spilling out all over the ground. Blood shooting everywhere. I can tell you what's wrong in that situation.
I don't think that's the situation she's in.
Her heart's missing.
Okay, let's wait to see how the proper channels play out. Like give it a day to see if we don't hear anything. Then we'll maybe look at improper ways of getting into.
That might be too late. We should go now.
We've been gone for weeks. I mean, she can wait one more day. But I think at some point, depending on what you find out from Keller Ellenval, maybe that'll give us more of a read on what the situation is. And maybe if it's bad, then we can just go in and break her out. Because, I mean, it sounds like she's just getting worse, and we probably shouldn't have left her there in the first place.
Yeah, well, we had to pick something to do. We still need to check on what's going on with Orem and what their plans are.
Gale would probably know about that.
Yeah, so do you want to go try to track down Gale?
Well, I'm going to go first. I think we should get you the Sending Stone. Then I'm going to go check in on Nisali. Then we can go check on down Gale.
Okay. Lana, what do you think?
It's split the three groups, obviously.
Or we could split up and you guys could go check on Gale while I go check on Nisali.
Maybe that'll be good for Gale's mental health. Yeah, you know what? Let's do that.
I mean, he likes you.
We have never been good for Gale's mental health.
No.
Well, some of us have been worse.
That is true. That is true.
Well, Team Cat, we can't get into Cat right now, but Hildreth can go talk to Keller or whatever. What's her name? Umavari? Umavarys. Yeah.
I mean, Lana does make a great point. You do have a stupidly high number of ways to enter rooms you're not supposed to be in.
Right, but that's if we're gonna split up, that does not seem like a task we should split up for. If we're gonna break in to see Cat, it seems like it's something more of us should be involved in.
Yeah. Lana's like, I'm doing crime.
Well, how about this? If we really want to do a crime, let's do a crime to somebody who definitely deserves it, and I don't know, do that plan where we sneak into the Orem camp to try to figure out what their plans are.
God, the fact that I know what you're referencing means that this is an old plan.
This is a very old plan.
We just let that sit the entire time we were gone.
I don't think that's a good plan. I think I'll have magical detection things for us to detect us sneaking in for a start. Okay, but I think we should first gather information. I think we should all go off on our separate information gathering missions, then return, share information, and then we can decide what we're going to do next.
It's gonna be a crime, you know that, right?
Yeah.
Well, it'll probably be some kind of crime, but we can discuss what kind of crime after we have more information.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If we're discussing what kind of crime it is, can it be murder?
Depends.
That'll be an escalation. So if we find out things are sufficiently bad, maybe.
What if we murder someone and then say they were sufficiently bad?
That's not... No.
No.
Then it would be murder and lying to the local law enforcement. 2 crimes in one.
The goal isn't to rack up as many crimes as possible.
Oh.
Ideally, if we do no crimes, that would be the best route. But I mean, it seems like there's probably going to be some kind of crime, but that's not the goal.
Then why are we talking about doing crime?
I don't
Well,
know.
because Lana is chomping at the bit to do a crime.
That's me.
Lana needs crime, damn it.
I've been away for so long.
I need a crime.
Go talk to Gale for now. Figure out what's going on with Orem and what his political ambitions are. Please.
Okay. Hey, maybe we're not supposed to talk to him. Maybe we can do a crime there. We'll just do smaller crimes, building up to a larger one. Maybe you can
sneak in, like if you want to sneak in, like ninja in just to be doing crimes, go for it.
This was Noel out of character, but...
It's too late.
Just
it's canon
clarify.
now. No, it's canon now.
We want our crime, damn it.
When we first left the city, Lana was in fact chomping at the bit of we shouldn't leave this, we should do a crime and not leave our sick friends here. So you know what? It can just be a continuation of that.
It's just a thing now.
I mean, the cat situation, we're gonna have to resolve that. I mean,
yes, and there's no way we're gonna be able to resolve that without a crime. You know that.
Probably not.
Good. Just so okay, I'm satiated.
Okay, so I guess we'll go get the sending stone, and then we'll go split up to do our things.
Speak to our respective people.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Who wants to go first?
I've done a lot of talking. Someone else will go.
I'm tired of talking now. Okay. All right. Well, who would like to go first in between Hildreth and Team Gale?
I guess Hildreth can go first. Team Gale's not jumping up.
All right. So you're going to go see the sage?
Yep.
The temple is every bit as lovely as you remember it. Again, an Elvish-style temple. The sage is in and is happy to see you, as always, speaking in sort of that featherlight voice that she has. Team Gale's confused about continuity. Okay, well, Team Gale can work out their plan. So yes, the sage brings you back to sort of her parlor room where you met previously and had your lovely tea. She insists that you sit and eat with her and begins to regale you with questions upon questions, just tumbling on top of one another about where you've been and what you've seen. She's very curious to hear about all of your adventures.
He'll spill as many beans as he feels is safe.
Okay.
Trying to leave out the oodles of magic items that we brought into to port, obviously.
We had a few groups of refugees that made it back from Eclipse Hold. We're very grateful for your help in returning them. Even some of our excuse me, of our parishioners made it back from their journeys. We owe you a great deal.
I don't know how to handle praise.
Okay. Cracks me up. She sort of laughs at that. Is there anything that we can do to assist you now that you're home? You must be incredibly tired.
I'm not home yet, but I do have some questions.
I will answer whatever I can.
It seems that the power structure here has changed somewhat since we've been on our adventure. Do you mind catching me up to speed?
Oh, as best I can. Things have been different. We have not seen or heard much from Her Grace, unfortunately, which has given the Church of Rildis and Darelai more ammunition, so to speak. They very much are still of a mind to remove her from the muted throne entirely. And of course, we are desperately trying to avoid that as much as possible. I was hoping the seer would be the third of in the Regency, but something must have happened behind closed doors. I'm not sure what, to have Mystic Cleaves placed in her stead. The army outside the walls continues to grow, and that has led to some tensions inside the city, as you may have noticed, but everyone is doing the best they can. I wish Her Grace would make an appearance, say something or do something to calm things, but Karak has been quiet. I know they've taken in some people. Some of the refugees went to work inside the castle, last I heard, but we very rarely see anyone come out.
I think I might know why Her Grace has been absent from the people.
Why?
It seems to me, as a medical professional and man who understands such matters of the heart, she's weeping and heartbroken since her lover, Xylund, has left. But now he's back triumphant.
And of course the sage just kind of looks at you strangely. That is not anything that I've ever heard. I wasn't aware Her Grace had any attachment. She's always seemed so separate from everyone else.
It seems like,
Go ahead.
from what I've heard from Xylund during our long adventure, he'd prefer it stays on the down low. But this is a matter of such importance, I felt maybe you should know. Now that we're back, he'll champion her out of hiding, restore the fire in her heart.
And the sage looks like legitimately excited by this. Like she kind of grasps your hand a little bit and like, oh, if that comes to pass, that would be such a boon for the city. It would calm people so much to see her happy again.
Xylund is a calming force. He's brought me much structure in my life since following around their ragtag group.
The ambassadors do seem a little unorthodox, granted, but clearly you get results. You've returned. Our refugees have returned. You say you can restore her grace to her old self. All of that seems fairly miraculous at this point.
I've seen them do some incredible things in my short time with them. I believe that they'd be able to handle and solve any situation that come their way. I have no reason to doubt otherwise.
Do they or you? Not that... it's a strange question to ask, but there is a growing concern, obviously, with the men of Orem outside of Greylock. Do you believe that situation can be solved without violence?
He'll take a deep breath and kind of poke at whatever little cupcake or tea biscuit he's got in front of him.
Yes.
For a bit, acting like he didn't hear the question.
She kind of sags in her seat and watches you.
Are already exploring non-violent alternatives that completely take place 100% within the confines of the law. We were very, very strict about that as soon as we returned. I know, I asked.
Well, that too is a comfort. I really hate to see the situation end in bloodshed, although I will
Xylund
admit...
himself was very against murder.
It was he. Well,
yes.
That would make sense. I would like to see them go, but I would not like to see them hurt. It's actually very calming to have you here as well, and to know that our ambassadors have arrived. I don't know if you're aware, but your stories travel throughout the streets these days. You're actually quite popular.
That would explain the whispers.
Whispers.
Excited but hushed tones as we walk through the street, eyes on us like 1,000 bats in the darkness, looking for a place to strike and leech our blood. But if they're excited to see us, I feel more calm.
I would take it as a compliment, yes. I don't think anyone here would harm you. You've become quite the icons of popular fiction. There was even a puppet show here earlier today, well, outside, for the children.
I'm a puppet?
You're a puppet. You all are. I go down to the shops, especially if you go down to the less fortunate side of the city. You are incredibly popular. Pictures, and I believe I even saw a donut in a rather amusing shape that was supposed to be one of you. I'm not sure which one. It wasn't very well done, but they are trying. You are incredibly popular indeed.
I've never been accepted by a community before. I don't know how to feel about this.
Oh, well, it's all quite in good fun. I wish you had come a little earlier and seen the spectacle. all these little ones rushing forth to watch this show. I even saw one little boy that had painted himself up to look very similar to you, or his best interpretation anyway. She kind of laughs to herself. He had taken, it wasn't exactly silver. I think it might have been like Putter's mud. It was gray. and done his best. But it was a good attempt, but definitely pales in comparison to the real thing.
Well, I'm a bit overwhelmed at the moment. But thank you for telling me, so I know exactly what's going on. Thank you also for talking to me like you do.
Of course. You're always welcome here. You and the other ambassadors, of course. If you ever wish to bring them by, you are proving to be an ever brighter spot in the realms lineup these days. And if you can do anything for her grace, you or your compatriot, I wish you would. And quickly. And if there's anything, of course, that the temple can do, or any of our sister churches can do to assist you, we would be happy to do so.
In that case, I might have a request.
Of course. Anything.
We wanted to get in and see the captain, Kat.
Captain Leofera.
That's her. We've had misgivings about her treatment before we left, and now that we've come back, things are possibly even more suspicious. We'd like to bring in a healer that we can trust to examine her.
Well, do you think she's being mistreated?
We won't know until we can see her. But we have reason to believe things are not as they seem.
Well, I will admit there is some questionable activity. Although I'm not really one to gossip. We did try to send our own medical supplies. We cultivate herbs here that the Church of Hildreth simply doesn't have access to. They tend to be fairly confined in their medical expertise. But our shipment was refused, and they wouldn't allow us to see her. But I believe I can give you an alternate way. Seems to be deep in thought. One of our parishioners does work for the Argent Order. They're a surgeon, actually. We have quite a few healers that operate in the realm. And...
Oh, hold on just a second.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back.
His name is Siren, and we could ask him to attend as a member of the Order. Between the Order and the ambassadors, that might give you the clout that you need to see your captain.
I've got one last thing to ask then.
Yes?
I know a bit about herbs and medicines. Medicines? That's a weird way to
Medicines.
pronounce that. Medicines. Medicines myself. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Accent.
I was wondering if we are able to get in and see her. Are there any special medicinal herbs you might have that you wanted to send to her? To begin with, I may be able to administer.
I could send you with part of our shipment. Obviously, it was a much larger one that we sent to the surgery ward under Rildis, but yes, I could absolutely get a smaller set together for you, and Siren will know what to do with them, of course. Let me get that for you. So she kind of scurries off and comes back about 10 minutes later with a small box. You can hear the soft clink of glass inside as jars move. And she hands it over to you. It's not overly large, but the size of a shoebox. I don't know if any of these will help. We don't truly know the condition of the captain, but they're definitely not considered common practice with the surgeons in Rildis. So hopefully they can help.
I'm sure they will. Thank you for your time and help once again.
Well, you're welcome, and hopefully we can see you again soon. Keep an eye out for puppet shows.
Hildreth kind of looks like, kind of reaches up towards his eye and then stops, and I'll do that.
So yes, you get to leave the Elvish temple full of chagrin and heavily complimented, and now with a bundle of medicinal herbs and the name of someone in the order who might be able to help.
I'm gonna write down Boxo herbs and put that in my inventory.
Boxo herbs, elf herbs.
That's an attack, not a
No,
item.
they're not an attack. Well, I mean, they could be. You could huck the box or the jars at somebody. All right. Is there anything else you'd like to do in the moment, Hildreth?
He'll try to reconvene with everyone, but kind of take the slow, meandering way through the streets to.
Okay.
Ooh! He needs
What?
to buy himself a cloak so he can hide himself and go incognito because he's a celebrity now.
Okay. Okay. Does he have money?
He's got an absurd amount of money. Jesus.
Does he? Okay, I wasn't sure if he was carrying any money on him or not.
I mean, he some of the cash he might have left on the boat or with the party, but I've got like 2,084 gold pieces on his sheet. That's a lot.
Okay.
Holy
Yeah.
crap.
Well, no. Yeah, you guys found a whole bunch. You guys found a huge stash of cash before you even got to the island. So yeah, you guys were rich long before you got there. Yeah, you guys do jingle when you walk. Okay, so yeah, that again, and especially on this side of town, since it's kind of the upper class side of town, it would be very easy to get a cloak. No one's really going to question you because you can obviously pay for it, and you're recognizable. So any tailor shop you go into is going to provide you with effectively any cloak that you would like to have. They're going to charge you out the butt for it. But,
of course.
Yeah. But yes, you can absolutely spend, say 10 silver pieces and walk out with a decent sized cloak. If you go up to 2 gold, you could have a really fine cloak, like noticeably nice cloak. So it depends on how incognito you want
You said this was the nice part of town?
This is the richy part of town. Yeah.
Then obviously I need a rich cloak because that's what's more incognito, regardless of the fact I'm going to be leaving the rich part of town.
So yeah, 2 gold will get you a plain enough that you don't stand out, but still high enough quality that you won't stand out. So kind of a nice middling.
All right.
But you can hide your face. Okay. You got your cloak. Gonna meander through the city for a little bit with your box of herbs. No, Lana's not gonna get mugged. All her money is hidden away. All right. Team Gale.
Yes, Team Gale.
Has Team Gale coordinated?
Yes, we have, and we are going towards Gale's mansion. The Hartney mansion, I guess.
Yep, Hartney Manor. You have been to Hartney Manor once before. Ages ago. Before you left on your sea adventure. So you know where it is. It's just to the north of north outside the city. It's a fairly sizable manor. Hartney is an old political family in Greylock, well established. As a reminder, there are 3 sons, and then Gale. So of Gale's brothers, one of them is in the Orem army, and you've seen him, you've met him. He's kind of a douche. There's the next brother who actually serves in Baltwall. You haven't met him. And then there is the second to youngest brother, and he's the politician. And you have met him. He's also kind of a douche, but he's a charming douche. And then there's Gale.
Who's
Gale's
a sweetheart.
Who has always kind of been the odd man out. And and he's just Gale. He's just Gale. He was sent to the clergy and didn't quite make it. He left the order. Last time you spoke with him or saw him, he was technically working with Kat as a pseudo spy. He was the one who had been sending her messages, and they had been in contact. So yes, Hartney Manor. Hartney Manor, the last time you there did have Orem soldiers patrolling outside. That is still the case. There's only 3 of them, and they mostly stick to the house. But they are there.
Do you want to walk up and knock this time?
Yeah, might as well. What did you do last time?
Broke in.
Why?
If I recall, there was a reason we weren't knocking. I don't actually remember what it was.
Okay, well, I guess I trust that.
I'm sure there was a good reason.
It was because you wanted to be invisible.
Oh, well, that's a good reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got you didn't have a very firm grasp on what was going on the first time, and you wanted to be you didn't want to be caught. You wanted to be invisible.
I can definitely sympathize with wanting to do magic stuff, because that's basically the entire reason why I got thrown across the town.
I wish I'd seen that.
Oh my
You
Lord.
did, canonically.
Technically, yeah. Technically, you were there.
No, I was hidden.
You weren't looking up at that time. You were busy. Yeah, so finally could just huck you into an upper window.
All right, we'll knock.
Okay. Yeah, the Orem soldiers will definitely stop you as you approach, even just the front door. You'll be halted and asked to state your business.
Hi, we're here to speak with Gale Hartney, Lord Gale Hartney, whatever his title is.
He'd be Master Hartney because he's not in charge.
Master Hartney. Lordling Hartney.
Yep, Lordling. Yeah, don't call him Lordling. Them's fighting words.
Mr. Important Hartney.
Mr. Important Hartney.
Least important Hartney.
Yeah, he's unfortunately, that is true. He is the least important Hartney. Yeah, the guard and your business.
Catching up with an old friend.
And your name.
I'm Davynn from Whitfeld. You may have heard of me. And this is Lana. Lana? Okay. Yeah, we're just gonna go with Lana then.
We're just going with Lana then. And so one of the guards leaves. The other kind of keeps you where you are. Still in the hand outstretched as a stop, and the other one resting on the hilt of his sword as his buddy wanders into the house. Comes out a couple minutes later and kind of gives the dude nod. So the other guard steps aside and watches you pass. all the guards watch you pass. As you go inside the house, which is a decent little manor house. It's a little dark. There's not a whole lot of color to it. It seems very quiet, very drab. And Gale is coming down the stairs. He looks tired, a little drab himself. But as soon as he sees you guys, he sort of picks up the pace a little bit, half jogs his way down the last few stairs, and goes to shake your hands properly. I wasn't sure you guys would ever come back.
What, like we were gonna give up on the city or something?
Well, no, like somebody was gonna shoot you when you die.
Please, we're basically gods. That would never happen. I didn't almost get killed by a dragon.
Kind of laughs to himself. You may fool the book writers, but I've traveled with you.
Yeah. All right. Well, how have you been? It looks like you've been keeping busy at the very least.
Oh, we've been nothing but busy. And he kind of, as he's talking, he motions you to follow him, takes you back to a parlor in the back with a nice big fireplace. But again, everything's kind of faded and threadbare. And he sits you down. Yeah, things have been different. You probably know all that, though. Being ambassadors and everything.
Well, I would say that we were ambassadors in that we went to go do an errand on the behalf of the city. So we don't know everything that's been going on.
Oh, well, what would you like to know?
Well, first of all, I heard you've been getting into politics.
Oh, if by getting into politics you mean following my brother around and nodding when he looks at me, then yes, I've been getting into politics.
Okay, I mean, I guess that's politics. Maybe. I don't know what politics is like. Which is weird, because I kind of ran for mayor while I was gone.
You did? Of
Well,
Whitfeld?
No, it was of this like little fishing boat manufactory kind of town. They were having a riot and they needed somebody to calm them down, so I kind of like stepped in as acting mayor and then I handed off. That's not important right now. More importantly, what exactly is going on with the like whole power struggle for the council?
There isn't one. There's a regency. Her Grace has not been seen or heard from in so long that people are fairly convinced that she's dead or worse. The situation with Orym has not improved. Well, or it has improved, I guess, depending on who you're talking to. Shipments are still coming in, and no one wants to talk about it. No one wants to do anything about it. I can't get Kat out of wherever they're keeping her. I don't even know where she is.
Yeah, we're working on that.
How are you working on that?
It wasn't my job. So I'm just gonna trust that Xylund and Hildreth have got this.
You gave it to Xylund?
Well, kind of.
You gave. Oh no! You left Xylund in charge of Kat.
We'll go fix that when we're done here.
Hasn't she been through enough?
Question: when we said the name Xylund, did Gale just kind of like flinch or something?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't until you said he was in charge of helping Kat that he actually showed any emotion. Then it was just like you just saw him deflate. You're like, oh my god, even more than he was deflated before. I can't believe you left Xylund in charge of that.
Okay, well, that's good to know. So nothing new, which is kind of the issue then?
There seems to be more power sort of congealing behind the High Protector. You don't see the Pyre Knights in the city, but when you do see them, they're always with Xylund. Always. And it's uncomfortable. The troops outside haven't moved or anything, and people can still travel, but yeah, it's very much tampering down on trade with Lorehold, because Lorehold doesn't want to be anywhere near them. Just fair. Lorehold's pretty much holed up inside its city, ready to fire on anybody who looks at him funny. And I can't blame him.
Okay. So it sounds like Orym is still also kind of in a holding pattern, but maybe getting a bit cozy with the Rodains.
Yeah, I think they've decided, and this is just my opinion, just from the meetings that I have been tangentially a part of. I don't think they're going to fire on the city, because I don't think they have to. If Her Grace really is as far gone as she seems to be, as far removed as the people think she is, then all Orym has to do is just make friends with the next person to run the joint, and they can hold it by proxy. That seems to be their plan. Which, while I am not a warrior, as you well know, I'd almost prefer an all-out war to that. To just rolling over and giving up.
Yeah, that won't be good for a lot of people here. So, do you know, has there been any evidence of their, like, coziness with the Rodains, or is that just kind of hearsay and speculation?
It's mostly my speculation. I'm not in a position to get much information. I'm watched pretty closely.
Yeah, we can tell, what with the guards outside your door and everything.
Yeah, I was told that was my brother's protection for the family, but he always did think I was dumber than I actually am.
Do you want us to take care of your protection? Because, like, we can chase them off or something.
No, they'll just send more, and then you'll just prove to him that I actually do need quote-unquote protection, and I never will get a moment's peace. It's a stupid game that they play, but it's a game that I understand, at least. I wish Kat were back.
But Xylund's back.
Yeah, Xylund is back.
Don't say that too loudly.
I hope that now that Xylund's back...
He just puts a hand to his head.
Maybe we can, help get Kat out sooner or something. Or maybe we should just go take care of that. Is there anything else that we should know about, what's been developing?
Well, I can answer any questions that you have. Like I said, Xylund has been meeting more frequently with Orym higher-ups. A lot of meetings. None of them really lead to anything. I heard that Mystic Cleaves was placed on the Regency Council, which is kind of a surprise because I thought it was going to be the Seer of Inaline.
Okay.
That's about it. Politics-wise, nothing has improved. Her Grace is still MIA. I did see... last time I went into town, which is increasingly more rare these days. But the last time I went, I saw you guys were on a picture, a poster, on the side of a building, and they seem to actually be getting your likenesses down. That was kind of funny.
That's fun. Did they draw like my? I'm gonna pull down the like neckline a little bit. Did they draw these?
No. Oh. But it wasn't that clear of a picture, and it had been up for a little bit. I think it'd been rained on a couple times. It was an old poster, but so I didn't think they did. But I was just happy that, because I saw your play, your first big play, the Attack of the Mole Men. I saw that one, and they didn't get very close with that one, did they?
Yeah, I don't think so. What's that played by a woman?
Yes.
I mean, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I'm okay with that.
At least, in the posters, you look more like you, mostly. So they are getting your likenesses down.
I'm perfectly secure in my masculinity. Quiet shoulder, Lana.
He kind of heaves a sigh.
All right. Well, thanks a bunch. And definitely let us know if we can, bring you something, like a book or something to do. Crossword puzzles.
I have books aplenty. It's all I do anymore is read. And walk around pretending I care what my brother has to say.
Do you miss adventuring with us at all?
I miss feeling useful, even mildly useful. When I was in the clergy, I had tasks and chores, and I felt like I was a part of something greater. And when I was with you guys, I was scared all day, every day, scared out of my mind, but I saw things and learned new things. I saw things that I never would have seen in the city, and got to draw that and write it down in my own words and process it in my own way to add to the collective knowledge of the world rather than reading somebody else's thoughts. I got to give my own. And when I came back and I started working for Kat, I felt like I was helping make the world a better place. I miss that.
That's fair. Do you, with your brother having connections to Orem, and you kind of having connections to your other brother who's involved with politics, what would you say would be the best way to figure out what the deal is between Orem and the Church of Rildis? Like, finding evidence or something like that. Where would you start?
I would find somebody who wasn't happy in their position and pay them to turn spy. I would do what Kat taught me to do. Find a weak point and make sure I controlled it. That's how we found out about the supply ship lines. Somebody wasn't happy about their cut. That's the thing about big military bureaucracies like that. Yes, Orem is scary and Orem is powerful, but Orem is made up of individuals. And there's going to be a weak link. You just have to find it.
Okay. I think we can do that.
Well, if you ever need help from a bookworm, a sheltered, hermited bookworm.
We would love your help. If you can work on getting yourself free, then yes, we would love your help.
Oh. Guess I can work on faking my own death. That'd probably get me out of here. Or maybe I can arrange to see a play.
If you need tickets, we can probably get you them.
I'm sure you could, but you'd have to talk to Stanley.
I refuse. Every time we talk to him, it feels like we walk away and we lose. We don't even go in like thinking about trying to win sometimes. It just feels like we walk away and I just feel like we lost a game we didn't know we were playing.
I think everyone feels that way when they talk to Stanley. I think even the captain felt that way when she talked to Stanley. That's why she'd never let him talk. But it was good to see you again, and please give my regards to everyone else, even Xylund.
I'll be sure to do so.
Don't let him kill the captain.
I won't.
Please.
I promise I won't. I promise he won't. You know what? Let's do that promise instead.
All promises are good promises.
Okay. Sounds good. We should get going then.
Nice.
I think that, Lana, I think I should probably take up the church on their offer.
I think so.
You want to come with for that? Because I think they would not like you.
I don't think they would like me, so I will find something else to do.
All right. Well,
Okay.
let's wait till we get back with everybody else, and then we can make other plans.
Okay. All right. You guys are escorted from Hartney Manor, leaving a decidedly more depressed, less revolutionary Gale than you saw last time. And we will go.
Oh, hey, Gale, one more thing.
Oh,
All
yeah.
power to the people.
You get a half-hearted salute. All right. Is there anything else Team Gale would like to do before we switch perspectives?
I think we're good.
Okay. Xylund, welcome back.
Hello.
Hi, it is your turn, Xylund.
Okay. So this Sacred Stone, do I have to attune to it?
Yes.
How long will that take?
Takes half hour.
I will, before I leave the ship, I will spend half an hour attuning to this thing.
So, as you spend your half hour on the ship, Zachary dances around you and pokes you.
I am busy.
Shh, you have to focus or it won't work.
I focus.
You're
Actually,
inspected with the monocle.
I go inside my lab and I slam the door that says no girls allowed on it. And I
Get a
focus.
Persistent knock. So you focus on the stone. You are now in control of the stone.
All right.
You open the door to your lab. There's Sakura looking at you, ready to go.
What? You're not coming with me?
Where are you going?
I'm going right into the middle of Greylock, like where all the shit is.
No, I don't want to go.
No, I didn't think so. Just hang out here. We'll be back.
It's boring here.
Well, go bug Kern. Go play with his hair.
I can't bug Kern. He's talking to this shipwright. He's very cranky.
Just stand behind him at some distance and sort of fiddle with his hair.
Okay. Deal. But that's only going to keep me busy for like 15 minutes.
Well, we'll be back soon.
Okay. You got to bring my stone back, remember?
Yeah, when I'm done using it.
Okay.
I'll give it back.
Okay.
All right. So how do I use this stone?
Okay. All you have to do, honestly, all you have to do is focus on it. It works, well, it's like a hot or cold. It identifies, again, weak points in reality. So anytime that there's any sort of, crossover point or anything like that, or a wild magic zone or anything similar to a wild magic zone, it will start to glow. And the brighter it glows, the more power is in that particular spot.
How big is it?
It's like less than it's like the size of a lemon. Like it fits in the palm of your hand. It's not very big. You could close your fingers around it and have it be hidden.
Okay, so I will do that. I'm going to start wandering towards Karacht while holding the stone concealed in my hand, and I'm going to focus on the stone as I go, and I'm going to periodically check it to see what kind of glow it's getting.
So you're wandering through the city with a glowing stone.
Well, hidden in my hand.
Do you have
Actually,
sleight
I've
of
got
hand?
Actually, I do, but I just remembered I have a big old cloak. So I'll
You do?
wear my big old cloak with big old sleeves, and I'll sort of hide my hand up the sleeve,
Okay.
and then just occasionally raise it to my face and check on the glow.
Okay. Are you leaving your helmet behind?
No, I'm wearing my helmet. I'm not going incognito. I'm just
Okay.
hiding the stone. So I'm wearing my cloak and my helm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just putting this image together in my head.
Okay.
That's all.
My original plan was to stuff the stone off to the side, sort of beside my eye, so I could look at it out of the corner of my eye inside my helm, but I don't think a lemon would fit inside my helm.
I don't think it'll fit. No, unfortunately, or it would be very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
All right. So the stone kind of glows no matter where you go in most of the city. Like, it has a faint glow. Anyway. But it tends to pick up more of a glow the closer you get to Karacht.
Okay. So I'll keep going to Karacht.
Okay. Karacht is very much as you left it. Massive doors closed. Big stone edifice. Your stone shines fairly brightly.
Okay, now that I'm here, I will sort of stick it in a pocket or something. And
Okay.
are there guards here?
No, there's nobody here.
Oh, really?
No.
Is the door open?
No.
Is it locked?
If you push on it, it does not move.
There's no one around. No guards, no nothing.
There are no guards, no servants. There is nobody on the top of the steps. There's people at the bottom of the steps. Because once you get to the bottom of the steps and there's the large plaza outside, there are people in the plaza, citizens and everything. But as far as like temple guards or bandit brigade or Argent Order, no. There is nobody.
Is anyone looking in my direction?
Yeah, a couple people surreptitiously, sneaking peeks at the cloaked man standing outside of Karacht.
With the dragon helm.
With the dragon helm on.
All right, I'll shout in my best booming dragon helm voice. Please don't be alarmed. And I will push harder on the door. I'll basically push until it opens with my...
with your 30 strength.
Yeah.
So you're pushing on these massive doors. And they don't budge at first, but given enough willpower and giant strength, they do creak. You can hear the snap of wood, whatever beam was holding the door shut, splinters, and it will snap and allow you to push the door open enough to get inside.
I'll close it behind me.
Okay, so now you can see there's this massive beam that's probably several hundred years old, has now been snapped in half, laying at your feet, splinters and wood chips everywhere. The halls are very cold and pretty dim. There are enough windows that there's light to see. Not that that's an issue for you, but none of the sconces are lit. None of the chandeliers are lit. It's very lonely in here.
I'm going to take up one bit of this splintered beam and try to set it on the door as some kind of makeshift cross piece to keep it closed.
Okay. Okay.
And I'll take out the orb again and I'll start heading towards Miss Ollie's room.
Okay.
Is it glowing brighter here?
Yeah, it glows very brightly here. Yes.
Okay.
glows very brightly here. So are you heading like to her solar, to the room behind the throne room, or to her actual like personal room?
Where did we meet her? Where did I meet her last time I was here?
Well, last time you were here, she was in bed and being tended to by doctors. So she was actually in a side bedroom. That was well far from the throne room and her solar. Normally, when you're here, you meet her in the solar.
I'll swing by the throne room first, see what the stone has to say about that.
Okay. Well, the stone does continue to glow in the throne room itself. The throne room is also muted and quiet and dead. There's nobody here. You can literally the only sound are your own footsteps.
Well, this is creepy. I'll poke my head in the solar.
And the solar is also empty. Her desk is completely bare. The chairs are almost dusty. No one has been in here for a long time. There was a vase of flowers off on one of the side tables that is wilted, that no one has taken care of yet.
All right, I will head towards her private chambers.
Okay. It's kind of a convoluted way to get there, since no one's actually supposed to be there. It's in one of the older parts of the castle, so the walls are rougher, and you can see in the floor the ruts where someone has walked or paced the same trail a little too often, and there's grooves in the stone where someone's obviously been running their hands over and over again. Following the ever-narrowing hallway, the stone continues to change from big blocks to smaller, older, cobbled pieces. Before you can get to her actual room, you pass by a small side room with its door open. Okay, Twinki. A small side room with its door open, and it's the first bit of life that you've seen since you got here. There's a fire inside that you can see and smell the smoke of. And you can hear very light voices, one that sounds very feminine and one that sounds, high pitched, but just young, coming from inside.
Check it out.
Okay. Peering inside, there is a woman, slightly older than yourself, probably. Kind of dark hair, dark chestnut hair that's starting to go gray at the temples. And she's wearing very much a servant style outfit. She's clearly a domestic of some sort. Her clothes are very utilitarian, and she's talking to a little boy who might be 4 or 5 with jet black hair, who's sitting on the floor playing with a toy soldier. And again, her voice is very low and indistinct, and his is kind of piping and high. But they appear to be playing soldier together.
I don't recognize him?
Well, her back is kind of to you. So you're only seeing her, about half profile. And the little boy you haven't seen before at all. But she doesn't seem to hear you because you're in your stealth suit.
All right, I'll sort of gently knock on the door.
And she stands bolt upright and turns around. And you do recognize her. Absolutely you do.
I think I know what's coming here.
Mm-hmm. But she, curtsies quickly and kind of keeps her head down. I don't think anyone is supposed to be here today. Are you lost? How did you get inside?
So just so I'm on the same page, is it my sister?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I'll just stand there for a sec, sort of taking it all in. Then I'll sort of point at the kid and be like, "Who's the boy?" Sort of doing my deep boomy helmet.
Your deep booby helmet voice?
Yeah.
Your Voltron voice?
Yeah.
Okay. She kind of takes, some minute side steps so that she is very gently placing herself between you and him. He's my ward, but you didn't answer my question.
Sorry, what was your question?
How did you get in here?
I opened the door. I am Xylund Scythewing, aka Xylund Shrillsteel. You might have heard of me. I'm kind of a big deal in these parts.
I don't think I have, but I've been away for a long time. I don't think you're supposed to be in here, and I definitely don't think you're supposed to be back here. And she
No
kind
one
of
stops me.
There's.
It's fine. Nisali knows me. We're close. We're good. Why are you the only one here?
I believe the cook might be around here somewhere, but we are very short-staffed right now. Yes. I really don't think you're supposed to be back here.
So I've answered your question. Now, who's the kid? Your ward? Where'd you pick him up from?
And she kind of stops and frowns at you, and all the servants, the servant act of sort of being soft-spoken and and being a little subservient kind of melts away. I think I answered your question. I didn't pick him up anywhere. I'll say it one more time. I don't think you're supposed to be back here. You can go, and she kind of squares her shoulders up. And I mean, she's not a large woman, but she's clearly worked in physical labor for a good portion of her life. So she's pretty strongly built. Or I will escort you out.
You'll escort me out?
If you won't go quietly, then yes.
So Xylund will just stand there, sort of not sure really what to do in this situation.
And she's clearly getting more and more nervous. Like, you can see her sort of shift on her feet a little bit and clench and unclench her hands. Like, she might be rethinking what she just said.
Finally, he'll just sort of mutter, "Fuck," and take off his helm.
You're actually going to take your helmet off?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And she's just dumbstruck for a second. This is a trick. This isn't... Okay, no, this is not happening. You died. You're gone. This is not... She sits down on the little wooden chair.
Yeah, just take a sec. I thought you died too.
Why would I die? I can't die. There's too much to do. Can't die.
So who's the kid?
I answered your question. Just because you're still as stubborn as you always were. Why don't you listen to me when I talk?
Well, ward. What does ward mean? Is he your son or?
No, he's not my son. He's
Whose
my ward. I take care of him. Well, after everything happened, I needed a job. And I finally found one working for a merchant family. And this is their little one. They were attacked and it's just a mess. His family didn't like her family, and her family didn't want to take on a child. A bunch of selfish bastards, a lot of them. And he didn't have anybody. So I just kept him with me. Couldn't leave him.
Well, that's nice of you.
What do you mean it's nice of me?
How did you end up in Valwall?
I got a letter that was in Valwall. That's just where I ended up. I tried looking for work in Lower Holds, and that didn't go over very well. And I just wandered for a long time. Just trying to find something, anything to keep me going. Did a lot of odd jobs. Worked on a ship for a little while. It was terrifying and made me throw up every day. I'm not really cut out for the sea life, I don't think. And I ended up in one of the little hole in the wall, one-horse towns in the Iron Isles until I found a job as a governess. Just, I don't know. Sounds silly to spill it all out like that, but yeah. And I just kind of fell in love with Eric, and now I'm his commander. And the little boy on the floor nods and knocks his soldier up and down and does a little half-hearted kind of salute, which is really just him knocking his fist to his own forehead.
How long has he been with you?
Only a year. But I've known him. I've known him since he was, 6 months old.
So were you here when everyone...
I came here when it was like this. I came here. I had a letter, a job offer, and I reported to the order hall, and they took me here.
No, I know about that. I meant way back when everyone died.
Oh, no. I don't really think about that much.
So you weren't here, or?
No, I was not. I wasn't at home.
Where were you?
I was working. I was doing what I always did. I was trying to take care of everybody. No, I wasn't here, and I should have been here. And then I thought I couldn't even go back into the house. I thought you just went with the rest of them. I thought it was just me and Dad left. And then he left. So
Left? I thought he was in prison.
he is. Drank too much. Too many debts. Even I couldn't buy his way out. And so he ran, and they caught him. He wasn't very good at running either, was he? I thought I was the only one left.
I did too until I found out about you.
Well, you could have written.
Written where?
I don't know. There's got to be better ways than showing up wearing a whatever that is, and you wandered around this place like you're, king of the mountain.
Well, like I said, I am kind of a big deal here.
Are you actually?
Kind of.
Okay.
I actually do know Nasali.
You can't. You can't call her that.
She doesn't mind.
Of course she doesn't mind. She's the kindest creature to walk the planet. But that doesn't mean you should not call her by her title.
Where is she anyway?
Do you really want to see her?
Yeah, that's why I came.
It's not pretty.
Okay.
And she just kind of stands up. Just sort of shaking her head, and she is shaking from head to foot. Like she's clearly still in shock / and or processing. So she talks to the little one. This commander says, "You stay. Stand at attention, okay?" And the little guy does. He does a little salute, little tiny fist to his forehead.
I'll give him a salute back.
Stands up. Stands at attention. She mostly shuts the door behind her and kind of ushers you out. She takes you past the bedroom, just the last place you saw Masali, and into a side room that again looks like it was basically an older storage room. It's sort of half caved in, And in and among the half-rotted shelves, and you can hear the scurry of mice along the walls. She leads you back, and in one corner, there is, Nysali, curled up in a ball, sleeping.
On the floor?
On the floor. It doesn't look like her hair has been washed or brushed in quite some time. The soles of her feet are absolutely black. She's wearing what you assume to be some sort of night clothes. And her fingers, from what you can see, are stained down to the second knuckle with various colors. And as Dai kind of brings you around, stepping very quietly past Nysali, she points to the far wall. And you can see in the little sliver of lamplight that is in this room that Nysali has been painting. She has effectively finger painted an entire mural on this wall.
Am I in it?
Yeah, you all are.
Cool.
Yeah, you're in it. There's the symbol of a large, or the kind of the shadowy outline of a large dragon off to one side. There's quite a lot of fire. There's a stack of bodies that the dragon has one paw resting upon. Awful lot of carnage.
So where am I in relation to everything?
You and the others are charging forth. You're charging towards the shadowy dragon, climbing over what looks like crumbling pavement and rock formations.
I will point it to me in the mural and say to Dai, see? Kind of a big deal. Prophecy murals.
She points to the pile of bodies. Do you see?
I'm just saying. I'll take out the stone and hold it close to Nysali and then pull it back and hold it close and see if it reacts at all.
Oh, yeah.
It gets noticeably brighter when I bring it close to Nysali.
Well, yeah. What is that? What are you doing?
Magic stone. I'm not. Why is she not in bed?
She doesn't stay in bed. She comes in here every night and she paints this, and when she wakes up, she scrapes it all away and does it all over again. This is all she does.
Does she eat?
Sometimes. I try as hard as I can. But it's like she doesn't know she's here.
I'll lay hands on her and sort of pump some 10 HP into her.
God damn it. Okay. She stirs a little bit, and that's about it. And again, now that you're up closer, you can see that the black and dark purple lines that were on her face and down her neck last time you saw her are still there. They're not improving.
All right, I'll just go ahead and give her all the HP, 35 HP.
Give her all the HP?
Yeah.
All right. She still doesn't wake. And the black lines don't go away.
Well, I'll pick her up and ask Di, so where's her bed?
So I'll take you back to the little room just down the hall. The one that you last saw her in. Looks like a little monk's room. She sleeps in here. And she slept in here. From what I understand. All of the normal servants are gone. So, I mean, she was conscious when I first got here. Talked enough, but then she just started to slip more and more.
Well, I'm glad you're here, but you probably would have been better off in Valwall.
Well, you get a job offer from Her Grace Greylock. You just
see, that was me. I asked her to do that.
Oh, Well, then why are you questioning that I'm here?
I'm not questioning it. I'm just saying you don't seem to be grasping that I'm kind of a big deal. I'm just
Is that your
reinforcing my
concern?
point.
This woman is dying, and your concern is that I think you're cool? What are you, 12?
No.
Are you sure?
I know that she's dying. I just carried her. I know that she's dying. We're gonna fix it. Don't worry about that.
How are you gonna fix it?
We have ways and means.
What did you do to your hair?
Oh, it kind of went this color. I did go inside the house.
Oh. That would explain that.
Yeah, you didn't miss much.
You still shouldn't be here. Oh, I don't know. Maybe you should be here. I don't know.
I talked to Lord Littlebottom. I forget his name. Roundbottom.
Ooh.
The guy, the realest man.
Common Brook.
Right. He said I could come. If I could get in, he said I could come. So here I am.
Well, you got in, I guess.
Is there anything you need here? Do you have enough food or?
They do bring supplies in. There's just no more staff anymore. Like I said, I do occasionally see the cook, but all the soldiers have been sent away and they won't come back until they get orders directly from Her Grace, and she's clearly in no position to do that. There's only one person that she'll talk to, and I've been told that that person is not available.
Right. We're working on that too.
And I'm not even sure that she can talk to anybody right now.
Okay.
I can keep her going, but I can't bring her mind back.
Well, I'm glad she has you. Just keep her going for now, if you can.
I'll do what I can, but...
Let's see. Don't have another sending stone to give you. Wait. I guess I could give you this one. I'll give her the sending stone.
The kissing stone for Kern?
Yeah, the kissing stone. Davynn has the other half now, but I'll give her my half.
Okay.
So you can use this to talk to a guy named Davynn from Whitfeld. He's a friend of mine. If you need anything here, just tell him and he'll tell me. Or maybe I'll probably get the other stone from Davynn, so it'll connect to me. But if you need something in the next few hours or something and you try to use it, you'll probably connect to Davynn.
Davynn from Whitfeld.
Yeah.
Okay. And I just talk to it?
Yeah. I'll show her how to use it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, if her condition changes or anything like that, let me know. I'll be back. I mean, I'll be around. Maybe I'll bring some people, my friends, to meet you next time.
I'm glad to see you.
Yeah, it's a trip.
She shakes her head. You're very strange. You were always very strange. But I'm not surprised that you're kind of a big deal around here.
That's nice of you to say. I've probably gotten stranger. I've done a lot of drugs.
She shakes her head. I can never tell when you're kidding. Are you kidding?
No.
Are you kidding now?
I shrug.
Well, if you are a big deal, then you've got a lot of stuff to take care of.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll maybe walk me to the front door. I kind of smashed the crossbeam on my way in, so if you could sort of prop it back up as best you can.
I can't lift that.
Okay, well, hang on. Maybe if I had a grapple gun, I could go out one of the windows.
Oh, you could just go out the front door.
Yeah, but then you can't close it behind me, is my point.
I can close it. I don't think anyone's going to come in here. It'll be okay. Or you could fix that too. Send guards. Send guards. That's what you can do.
You want guards?
I guess, if you've broken the door.
Okay. I'll see if I can get some
send
guards.
people to fix the door. I don't know. You're the big deal.
All right.
I just got home.
All right. Well, anyway, we'll be in touch.
Okay.
Yep.
She'll walk you back to the door. He takes Eric with her, scoops him up, gets you back to the door, and does see that you've busted the beam and fusses over the beam. I'm gonna have to clean this up now.
I just sort of propped it back like that. I don't know if you can lift it by yourself, but
No, I can't. Who can lift that? It took 2 people to put it in there.
well, it's in half now, though.
She looks at Eric. I guess we'll just figure it out.
All right. I'll see you in a bit.
Bye.
Bye. And I'll leave.
The door shuts behind you.
Put my helmet back on. Head back towards the boat, I guess. Anytime anyone gets near me, I'll do a vwam, vwam, vwam.
Do your vwam?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not. I just want to be left alone right now.
So you're wandering back. So Davynn, as you're headed back from Gale's, you do have the sending stone, right?
I do, yes.
Okay, so you get a voice. A female voice. Hello?
Hello? Xylund?
No, I'm just checking to make sure this works.
Did you steal something from a spiky-haired dragon helmet man?
No, he gave it to me. Is this Davynn from Whitfeld?
Oh, yes, this is Davynn from Whitfeld. Who's this?
Oh, that's not important. I just want to make sure it works. Okay, goodbye, I think. I don't know how this thing works.
Lana, I think I just got a spam caller.
Don't give them your address.
Don't give them any identifying information.
Wasn't planning on it.
Don't send them money.
So the crew can now reconvene, having done their own separate legs because we never learn. And now you can all trade information, whatever information you feel pertinent, and formulate your crime. Or lack thereof. But probably crime.
Oh, first I'll get the stone back from Davynn. Could I have that back, please?
Yeah, sure, why not? Xylund, there was somebody who was calling me on this.
Oh, did you need anything?
I don't know.
Did she sound like she was in trouble?
No, just confused.
Okay, well, that's fine then.
Okay.
Okay. She's taking care of Nasali. She's gonna let us know if anything sort of really bad happens over there. Yeah, Nasali's really bad. Like, pretty much we gotta get Kat out because Kat is the only person who can probably get through to her at this point. Also, Nasali is painting murals of us fighting a dragon who's perched on a pile of dead bodies. So that's pretty much all she does is paint these murals and wander around.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like she's doing much better.
No, I couldn't get her to respond to me at all, and I pumped her full of HP. I don't say it in those
phrase it like
terms.
that.
All right. Well,
I'll give the summary of what happened with Gale, and then basically end off with. And I'm thinking maybe I need to take up these I should be able to say this word, Rildaean Church. on their offer to like connect or something, because maybe that'll be the best way to find somebody who might be able to help us figure out what they are doing with Orym and maybe prove it.
Okay. All right, so you're going to go undercover in the Realist Church?
I don't think I can go undercover. I think I'm too well known.
But I mean, you're going to ostensibly embrace their teachings kind of deal or cozy up to them?
We'll see. I think it'll depend a whole lot on whether or not they're going to try to convert me away from being magical or something.
Okay. Hildreth, what'd you come up with?
I learned about puppet shows.
Cool.
Me.
More importantly, though, I learned that in Umaveris wanted the seer to take regency. They're just as concerned as anyone else that the mystic is there instead. They're also quite unsettled about the army that's growing outside the walls. I talked a bit about Kat. They've also tried to get healers in to see her and have been turned away.
Well, if they've been turned away, we don't have much chance. I wouldn't think. Yes, I see you smiling over there, Lana.
There is someone working for the Argent Order, a man named Siren, who might be able to get us in to see Kat.
Okay, well that seems promising. The woman who's looking after Nasali asked if we could maybe arrange for some guards to watch over Carrick, because right now it's pretty much just abandoned. Like no one, I just pushed my way in and no one was there to even bat an eye. So I don't think we should probably get the Argent Order or anyone associated with the Realist Church to do it. But maybe we could get, like, does this Keller and Ellenvolve dude have a kind of a military wing? Like, because you seem to have an in with those guys. I'm not sure Zana is really, like, they might have a military wing, but they'd be gnomes. So I don't want to be racist, but gnome guards aren't super intimidating. Do you think you could ask Umavar's to send some guards to guard Karak, Hildreth?
I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
They don't seem to be a very militaristic group.
I'm not sure who else we could ask. Like, I could ask Granin, but I don't really want to draw too much attention to the fact that I'm not actually with Granin anymore.
They were hoping quite a bit that you would be able to solve the Nasali problem.
Right. Well, she's pretty unresponsive. I put her in bed. That's about all I could do.
Oh, I see.
That wasn't a euphemism.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Always phrasing. So, what would you like to do from here? Because I know what Lana's thinking.
Well, I think first we should talk to this guy that Hildreth got a lead on, and maybe he can, like, if we can get in to see Kat through official channels, that'll at least give us a better idea of, like, we'll have more intel for planning our potential crime, basically. Does anyone disagree with that?
No. I did say that we would try to keep crime to a minimum. I did not say we would avoid it altogether.
Yeah.
We have Umaveris' support as long as we at least try to play by the rules first.
Okay.
I think it's still worth doing the investigation of the Rildayan church and stuff from the inside, maybe, as well.
Okay.
I've got this neat new cloak. I can hide in there. No one will notice me.
He does look pretty snazzy.
Yeah, that's a cool cloak. Very, very fancy.
How snazzy does he look?
Pretty snazzy. At least an 8.
I'll take an 8 out of 10.
That's right.
But not like an 8 out of 100, because that's not very snazzy at all.
8 out of 10. 8 out of 10.
All right.
Very snazzy. Okay, so what's the plan then?
So do we want to split up again? If you want to go meet up with the Rilda's church, that seems like you don't need all of us to go on that. So some of us could go talk to this Hildreth person while you do that. Or
yeah, that seems like the best option. I don't think we'll be able to get any like intel out of them if we go as a full team.
Okay. So while Davynn goes to talk to the Rilda's church, what do the rest of you want to do? Do you want to go to Argent Order?
I guess we're gonna try to track down what's his face.
Okay.
Lana, did you want to go with Davynn or come with us?
I'll go with you. I don't think I'd be welcome at the church.
Okay. Do they have anything against tieflings? Rilda's?
Not specifically, no.
Okay.
No, I think the magic might be the bigger problem.
Yeah. Which, and again, of the tieflings, Lana would be the more acceptable, but still.
I think I started pushing it like 10 or so polymorphs ago.
They don't know that. They don't know that.
Well, last time we were here, didn't you turn into a magic horse and fly around the city or something like that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
They might know.
Yeah, they probably know. Yeah. They're probably aware.
Oh, shit. Okay, hang on. Rethink. We gotta prepare for the eventuality that Rilda's church is going to try to detain Davynn and forcibly convert him. So,
Maybe
do you want?
Yeah, give me the sending stone back.
Okay, okay. Right. If anything goes wrong with you, I guess tell the woman on the other end, whose name is Di, about your situation. And
okay, I'll tell her, hey, Di, I die.
That doesn't sound like proper English.
No.
I think I have a thing for this. Oh no.
I kept thinking I have a thing for this, but I just can't find a thing for it.
We'll just have to go visit Di. Yeah, just give the details of your situation to Di, if and when you run into trouble.
How do you feel about carrying 3 to 6 rats?
Explain?
I give you 3 to 6 rats, and if they come back, I assume you're in trouble.
That could be worse. Okay, sure, give me the rats.
Oh,
I will give
my
Davynn
goodness.
3 to 6 rats.
How are you going to give him 3 to 6 rats?
I have so many avenues of summoning rats.
I know you have rats. How is he going to carry the rats?
He has a bag.
Are they docile rats, though, or is he
fair.
carrying this bag of squirming rats?
Feral rats.
Charmed rats.
They're charmed to you. I don't know if they're
And I will tell them to behave.
Okay. All right, so Davynn, how are you going to carry your 3 to 6 rats?
I have a bag.
Okay. So you're just gonna ratatouille this, I guess.
So
All right.
what's the plan? You're gonna release a rat like every half hour, and as long as we receive the rat.
No,
we
if
know
I
we're
receive
okay?
the rats, if I release the rats at all, then you know that something's gone wrong.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
It's not the worst idea we've ever had.
No,
guess that's
it's
fair.
not.
I'll get my standing stone back then, since this is clearly the superior plan.
Clearly superior.
I don't
plan.
think it's any worse than having him wrap through the mysterious woman who's in the character for some reason.
Okay, so Davynn's got a bag full of rats. How long do the rats last?
Let me check.
24 to 48 hours, depending on how refrigerated they stay.
Must be proficient with instruments, rats. So all it says is that I get a swarm of rats.
Let me see. Type. All right.
Friendly for me and my... Oh, I have to keep playing. Never mind. I'm taking the rats back.
Oh, it's only how you play. Okay.
Yeah. How inconvenient. I had another source of rats at some point, but I can't find it in my inventory.
You had a hat of rats.
Yeah, you had
I did have a hat of rats. What happened to my hat of rats?
Hat of vermin.
Did you take my hat of vermin?
No, you still have it. Unless it got destroyed by your spear.
Destroyed.
Travesty.
Yeah.
So the summary here is that I don't have rats.
You don't have rats.
You don't have rats. I can send you with something worse.
Ooh.
Like I can just give you a scroll that will blow up whatever room you're in if you know you need that.
I mean, I think that's a good idea.
Why would you lead off by saying it's worse?
Because it is. I possibly have a ring that summons an earth elemental. Let me check.
Meanwhile, I will dispose of these rats by smashing them.
Absolutely not. I will contest that. Those are my rats.
They spread disease.
They're my rats. They're tame rats. Don't touch my rats.
Lana, queen of rats.
Nope, it's just a ring that controls earth elementals, because you come across those regularly. Nope, you're on your own. Good luck.
Okay, that's fine. Just give me the stone.
All right, here's the stone. Her name's Di. Don't ask for any more personal information about her or anything. Just keep it professional.
Okay. I definitely won't. Now that you mentioned it.
Keep it professional. Okay, give me the stone back for a sec.
Okay, here.
Okay, I will say into the stone. Keep it professional. I'm giving the stone to Davynn. And I will give it the stone to Davynn.
Okay.
Are you afraid they're not going to be professional with Davynn?
I'm not afraid of anything.
Are you afraid that Davynn might become their new best friend?
No, I'm not afraid of anything. It's all fine. It's all good.
Man.
All fine. Oh my lord. All right, we're keeping it professional.
That's wrong and silly.
Okay, so Davynn is going to go and talk to Church of Rildis, and the rest of you are going to go to the Argent Order. Oh, there we go. Inspiration.
They are, come to think of it, very close together, right?
The Argent, you mean physically?
Yeah, physically.
Yeah, geographically they are very close together. The Church of Rildis and the Baron's Hold are not far from one another.
Within 120 feet?
Not quite that close. Not quite that close. No, they're, say, within a city block or two. Because all the churches are in the wealthier district, as is Baronhold. But Baronhold is fairly large in and of itself. So it's kind of set back from the road. But yeah, it's not super far away.
And also, they are fairly close in terms of organizationally.
Yes, organizationally, they are very close. The Argent Order is, while it's not a direct offshoot of the Church of Rildis, most of the soldiers do worship Rildis. And again, Rildis is, like I said, the second largest military force inside of Greylock, with the Argent Order being the first. So there's a lot of crossover politically. There's a lot of crossover with worshippers. There's a lot of crossover with personnel. So yeah, they are technically distinct, especially since Nasali has taken over, since she obviously is a follower of Nenemeth and not Rildis, and the Argent Order technically reports to her and her alone, but there's still sort of that political pressure from Rildis.
How would you take a rat and the stone?
Okay.
The rat doesn't even have to go far to find us. We're like right next door.
Yeah, the rat can find you.
I knew I had something else with rats.
Okay. So Davynn has a rat and the stone to walk off to the Church of Rildis, and the rest of you are going to the Argent Order.
Yep.
So we'll start with Davynn. Going to the Church of Rildis to make friends and influence people.
Yeah, so I'll just, I guess I'll just walk in and kind of ask around because I was invited.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as soon as you come inside, like, you will instantly get plenty of attention. You are clearly well known. You are recognized immediately. There are several clerics that rush over to ask how they can help you. You know, they all refer to you as Master Davynn, so on and so forth down the line. So you basically have a run of the place.
You can just call me Davynn from Whitfeld. Master Davynn sounds really too formal for me.
They're not sure what to do with Davynn from Whitfeld, but they do. Some of them do immediately change to just Davynn, and others stick with the master thing. A couple call you ambassador, trying to be fancy. But again, all of these are kind of like pages and squires. So they're anywhere between ages 10 and 14. So yeah, they're still kind of in the learning stages, but they're very much in awe that you're here.
So can you remind me when Gale was talking about the people from Orem being seen like around the city? Did he say the church or the order were the people that they were often seen with?
The church.
Okay. And once more, because I'm bad at memory, what was the name of the guy who's now sitting in the council?
Commonbrook, Arthur Commonbrook.
Yes.
There is the clergy cheat sheet handout is still in the handout section, and that's got everybody's names on it. If you need a refresher. Cool. Yeah, I made sure that was still visible to everybody. So
yes, I will absolutely still need that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just be like asking around. Hey, has anybody seen High Protector Commonbrook around? He like invited me to come drop by. I thought he might have like something to say.
Oh, and again, you get a chorus of answers, but it's no, he's been over at the conclave. He's been doing that. So he hasn't been around a whole lot. They put Iwin in his place. He's here if you want to talk to him.
Yeah, sure. Which way is that?
And of course, this gaggle of boys will lead you off en masse.
Okay, you with the red hair, you can take point.
Oh, so much disappointment. As the others, damn it, they're so sad now. As this one young page leads you off proudly, his little chest puffed out, he's ready to go. But yeah, he leads you back into more of the living area of the church, rather than the opening worship area. And he does take you to an open chamber. There are multiple little desks in here. It seems like it's a study area, but there's a younger man here. He's early 20s. He's got dark hair, and he wears the robes and the pauldrons of somebody who's kind of high up in the church. He's probably mid-level. And the page takes great pride and kind of booms his voice out as best he can and introduces Iwin Wisara, Protector Iwin Wisara. Ambassador Davynn from Whitfeld is here to see you, sir. The young man looks up and sees you. Stands.
Hello, Iwin. I don't think we've met before, but he introduced... This is weird. I'm used to saying that I'm Davynn from Whitfeld, but the guy introduced me instead. So, nice to meet you.
The man comes around the desk and extends a hand. Seems jovial enough. It is indeed an honor to meet you. I haven't had the pleasure yet. I am Protector Iwin. How can I help you today? And he sort of sends the page scurrying with a flick. of his wrist.
Well, you know, it's been a while since I've dropped in on a Rildan shirt, so I thought I might, drop in, see how things are going.
Always good to be back home after a long journey. Refresh yourself with a little faith and brotherhood and...
Yeah, well, not exactly home, hence the whole from Whitfeld thing, but yeah, pretty close.
Well, I mean, adopted home, let's say. Greylock certainly considers you one of her own, as do we, and we're always very pleased to see you.
Yeah. So, what has the church been up to nowadays? I know that there's been some like kerfuffle with the conclave and Orem still outside of our walls and stuff.
He waves a hand. Overblown gossip. Clearly there is a bit of concern with her grace not feeling up to performing her duties, and as the Rildian Church has always considered itself stewards of the city since its founding, we certainly want to help fill that hole as best we can. The High Protector was very much a champion of the Regency. We are incredibly proud of his position on it, and he takes that responsibility very seriously.
Yeah, I would imagine so. It's kind of a big deal.
It is certainly a lot of responsibility, and one that he doesn't undertake lightly. As far as our Orem issue, they have been peaceful thus far. Clearly there are concerns given their history, but we feel confident that we can handle whatever they choose to offer, and ideally, once her grace is back on her feet, or heavens forfend, worst comes to worst, her duties are handed over to the Regency permanently, we'll be able to reach some common ground with the Orem forces before things get out of hand and innocents get hurt.
Yeah, I mean, Orem's kind of evil in a lot of ways. I don't know how much common ground there is.
Evil is a strong term. They're certainly not marauding around or, attaching themselves to innocent caravans or anything like that. They seek conquest, which we of course don't condone, but they have yet to harm the city in any way, and all of our interactions with them have been peaceful and fairly diplomatic.
They do still have an army camped outside of the walls, though. That's not exactly peace. There's a difference between, like, positive peace, which is the absence of threat, and then negative peace, which is just the absence of violence. I've been reading.
Yeah, clearly. Your point is taken, and if this were any other nation that we were discussing, I would agree with you wholeheartedly, but I have yet to meet a diplomat from Orem. I am not sure they even come in that variety. So we take what they send.
Can I do some kind of insight check or something?
Cool.
All right. Oh god, that's bad. Oh, that's very bad. That's not worth upgrading.
I mean, you can use your inspiration if you want.
No, even with the two things I could do, that wouldn't help that much.
All right. So yeah, he seems perfectly fine. But how can I help you beyond just stating the obvious, Ambassador?
Well, I guess what with the whole ambassador for the city kind of thing, I would like to, I guess just learn more about what Orem's diplomatic position is, and it does seem like you here have been doing the best job of that, which I will say I'm kind of surprised about, because I thought Rildis was all about, fighting bad guys and stuff, but I guess, negotiating is also a form of fighting bad guys.
Well, we definitely, as you put it, fight bad guys. We seek justice in the name of the law. And thus far, we would prefer to avoid bloodshed, if that can be avoided. We just want to ensure that stability is maintained without sacrificing innocent life.
Of course, everybody wants that. So, would you be able to help me? Do you have any like intel on what Orum's plans are?
Their plans? I know that several of their generals have met with the High Protector recently. There's also been some input from the noble caste, on and off.
The noble caste, you said?
Yes. They also have interests in keeping the city stable. I'm not one for politics myself, but those meetings have been going on. Getting the supply chain stabilized is a big concern. I understand that's been dealt with. There was some question for a little while there. And of course, we were able to get their ships to at least vacate the area of the harbor. Inaline savages were getting a little antsy, and we don't want that. There's only so much ale in the city.
Gotcha. Well, I guess really what I would love, really, is I feel like I and a lot of other people here are not comfortable with Orum just camping out on our doorstep. I'm sure you felt that energy around the city.
Oh, of course.
And what would be really, really great is if we could work together to try to get them to leave earlier. I know that we have some issues currently with what you called, what was it, overblown drama or something? But while that's all happening, and that's all very important, there are people who are rightfully a bit worried.
Understandable. And I'm sure once we're able to show the nation of Orem that Greylock is stable and still able to be a functioning member of the world order, then they will go on about their merry way. I haven't seen or heard anything to the contrary.
Well, I don't... Well, do you think that maybe we could work on getting them to go on their merry way beforehand?
What would you suggest, Ambassador? You are the diplomat here.
I'm not entirely sure. I was hoping that maybe you could provide some insight, since the church has been doing such great work.
Well, as I said, I believe once stability has been proven, Orem will leave. And whether that is Her Grace assuming her duties or the Regency being made permanent, that remains to be seen. I know with the High Protector, his primary concern is establishing whether or not Her Grace is competent. And once that's been established, then we can go from there.
All right, well, fair enough. Well, if you don't mind, do you mind if we do like a walk and talk?
Where would you like to go, sir?
I don't know, just, I haven't been around this place for that long. Would you mind showing me around the church?
It would be my pleasure.
Cool.
So
I want to continue this conversation, but in like a more public way, so that maybe like
okay.
Basically, he's trying to put feelers out for, is there anybody in the church who has like similar feelings?
Right.
That has,
someone who pays a little too much attention. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, you can certainly walk with Protector, and he'll take you through the various areas of the church. You can see the living quarters. You can see some of their libraries. Occasionally stopping the conversation to point out features of interest. There are actually quite a lot of people in the Rildean Church. It is one of the largest churches in Greylock, one of the most populated. So there are a lot of people. Some of them are parishioners. Quite a few of them are clergy. But you don't, as you sort of walk and talk, You're not getting necessarily the sense. Most of the attention you're getting seems to be more from your fame. You're being recognized for who you are than necessarily being recognized for your sympathies.
Curse my fame. All right. Okay. I mean, if that seems to be the summary of what's going on, then Davynn, I guess, will just excuse himself, having not been accosted and kidnapped.
No, it was not accosted and kidnapped in any way. No one laid a finger on him. Everyone's just kind of starstruck that he's there. Because he's so cool.
Well, right. I suppose I'll take my leave, but before I do, since I am ostensibly a Rildean, I was wondering, is there anything that, the church could use assistance with? I've been doing a lot of work for the city, but not so much for this whole institution.
I don't believe so. Obviously, there was quite a bit of a rebuilding effort, but we are recovering fairly quickly from having expended those resources. Again, another area where the Aurum forces have been more than helpful. And so I believe we are exactly where we need to be.
All right, well, I guess if you don't need my help, then I'll just take my leave then.
We welcome you coming and hope to see you again. And he'll usher you out the door.
That was less informative than I was hoping. Gave me the run around.
Goddamn bureaucrats.
Goddamn bureaucrats. God damn it. All right, team. What are you? Team Baron's Hold. Baron's Hold. Another place where you are all recognized instantly, partially for being the ambassadors and partially for being you. You easily gain entry. No one's gonna, the guards don't even question you. They just open the door automatically. As you and you've always really had the run of Baron's Hold. So you can go where you like and do what you like here.
So this guy was a doctor of some sort? Hildreth?
Let me look at the notes I absolutely did not take and I remember from memory.
Yes.
He's a surgeon.
Okay, so let's go to where the surgeons are.
Okay. Well, they do have a very small medical wing. Obviously, they need their fair share of healers. And there's about a half dozen people in their various races. And of course, you are greeted as you sort of poke your heads in. They appear to be mostly packing supplies, like rolling bandages and just getting things inventoried and put away.
What's this guy's name?
Serene.
Serene.
Or, no, my bad. Siren.
Siren.
I got his name backwards.
Pop up ahead. Can we help you, ambassadors?
We're looking for Siren. Siren?
Siren.
Siren.
The one guy in the back looks up as an elf. Again, on kind of middle-aged. Kind of lifts his hand up slowly. I'm Siren.
Oh, could we have a private word with you?
Oh, yes, of course. Steps outside. Is something wrong?
No, I'll let Hildreth take it from here. Hildreth.
That might not be wise.
Well, all right. I'm not sure what's her face said to you exactly. Something about, okay, we want to get in to see Cat, maybe. You know who Cat is?
The captain. We all know who the captain is. Yes, of course.
Right. And Hildreth is friends with
It's best not to talk about that.
Okay, never mind. Forget I said that. How to put this? It has come to our attention that you might be able to get us in to see her, to ascertain her condition and, have words with her and stuff.
I can try. No one's really been successful. I can certainly try. I don't know if they'll let the order in. Do you have a pass, or do you have a writ or anything?
Well, we're kind of a big deal. I am Commander Xylund Sidewing. This is my trusty companion Hildreth of the Forests. And this is Lana.
More like a swamp. Maybe even a bog.
This is Lana of the no last name.
Lana.
Lana. But anyway, apparently there's puppet
That's how you
shows of
summon them
this.
between two mirrors.
Oh, there we go.
I understand. I know who you are. We all know who you are. But Rildis is... Have you ever dealt with them? They're fairly intimidating.
Have you met Xylund before?
Yeah, I can throw things really far.
I haven't met any of you personally before. I am happy to go. We're all concerned about the captain. She hasn't been communicating with us for a while, and her reputation aside, no one wants to see her hurt.
No, obviously. So basically they're just stonewalling you is what you're saying.
Yes, completely. All medical, any attempt really to send her medical aid of any kind has been rebuffed. I know my temple attempted, and we were turned away. The order itself sent another surgeon in, not myself, but another healer in, and they were turned away. I believe that Resh and Sindalay have also sent in representatives, and no one has been able to get inside.
Okay, so is she being held underneath the Rildis church?
It's not underneath, it's just their surgery wing.
Oh, so...
They have a clinic. She's under guard, but the clinic is open.
Would you know the way?
Of course, yes.
Okay, well, it seems like we're not going to get this done without cracking a few skulls, so...
Why? How many skulls?
Well, hopefully none. I meant that more metaphorically. Like, once I throw someone into space, I'm sure they'll get the idea.
It just kind of looks at you. Are you really going to throw people?
Obviously, you've never met Xylund.
I have never met.
Hopefully not. I can throw things really far, though. Are we outdoors now, or I guess?
No, you're inside. Yeah, you're inside. So you have a roof to contend with.
Well, once we get outside, I'll throw something for you, and then you'll see.
Okay.
Right now, we have a friend has an appointment with the Rildis church. Once he comes out, how about we wait outside in front of the church. He comes out, we sort of marshal our resources, and then head in and see if we can, cut through the red tape to see Cat.
Okay.
Unless you have some.
No, of course not. No. I'm free to travel with you. That is absolutely fine. I'm just concerned about throwing things.
No, I'll try to keep that to a minimum. But is there anything you can think of that we could bring along with us to make us more official seeming, so it lessen the chance of having to throw things?
You're the ambassadors. I can't imagine anyone more official than you, other than a general.
Ooh, that makes us feel good.
Direct order from Nisali. Well, she's incommunicative. I mean, we could lie, I guess.
Yes, that was the implication.
Okay. Well, I'll leave that up to you then. You can do. Actually, you should be the face for this. If we're going to try to avoid.
I was going to say, maybe let the highest level bard handle the deception.
Yeah.
So we'll wait. For
no idea what's going on, but
that's okay.
I can certainly bullshit.
We'll wait for Davynn to come out, see if he's turned up anything. If he hasn't, we all head in. You're the face. You take point. You try to get us in with words. If that doesn't work, I start,
We'll still get in with words
Throwing things.
because we made
Yeah.
promises.
We're just gonna get in. Is basically how this is gonna go.
Yeah, don't worry. I have plenty of avenues to do that.
Okay.
A little rat scurries through the door.
Yeah, exactly.
That is
Actually,
the least intrusive.
it's probably best to do this publicly so that it doesn't seem like we're slinking around and ashamed, because what they're doing is wrong, and we're just
I agree.
righting her wrong. Okay.
Okay. So you march out with your doctor in tow to meet up with Davynn after his meeting with the Protector to touch base.
Okay, we'll fill Davin in once he comes out.
Yeah.
Share any intel.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's do this.
All right. So Lana's taking point. I'm gonna
This can only go well.
I'm only gonna use force if absolutely necessary.
Look, if
probably
it all
just be
goes
handed-
south, just throw someone and I'll walk in.
Right. Okay. So we're doing this.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Here we go. So the doctor leads you into the church and can actually take you directly to the surgery ward, which is on the ground floor and it is accessible. It's also a public clinic. So there are, civilians in there as well as established clerics, all Rildan, of course. And so as the doctor is kind of leading you through the lightly crowded area, he points to a door in the back that is guarded. There is a temple knight there. And he says that's...
Oh, wow. One whole night.
That's the secure wing.
All right. Well, let's go.
Okay. So you can go down the little hallway that's lined with examination rooms to the end, and the temple knight immediately, hand on hilt. Can I help you?
Do we have a badge?
Yes, we're visiting.
You have letters.
Letters. Close enough. And I will hold up that letter. We have an order from Nysali to visit. Let us through.
He kind of shifts from foot to foot. I didn't think Her Grace was issuing orders currently.
Not too many. My compatriot here visited. We'll be visiting now.
Ma'am.
Sir.
roll your deception.
Oh, I misheard you. Okay.
Yeah. Deception roll, please.
Can do. Watch this be the nat one. It's a little... My sheet's being slow to load.
That's
Sorry.
okay.
Sheet.
Oh, my deception is not that high.
I can use my.
It was a joke. It's a +15.
Again, I don't know why you don't make Lana talk to everyone at all times.
Well, maybe we will.
Maybe this will be the start of things changing. The lowest I can roll is a 16.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, of course, blows his roll completely out of the water.
Not that high.
It was a joke.
So to his credit, he does hesitate for a moment. But he looks at the letter and looks at you all. I understand. But make it brief. They'll open the door and let you guys pass.
And I will walk in like I know where I'm going.
Okay. So this area of the clinic is, again, it's a little more secure. There aren't as many windows, and the ones that they do have are very high up on the wall and very small. So it would be difficult to climb through. There are far fewer beds in here, and there appears to only be one nurse on staff or a cleric on staff who eyes you at the minute you walk in. But there's only 6 beds in here, and only one is occupied. And that one is behind some partitions, just some very kind of hastily erected frames with curtains strung about them. But the cleric rushes towards you as you walk in the door. Door gets shut behind you almost immediately. I'm going to have to ask you to go. This is a secure area. We have a very ill patient here.
Two things. One, the first time we visited her, we walked into the room and almost immediately felt like it was null magic. Are we getting that feeling here?
No, because the first time you talked to her was in the basement of the Conclave, which is a null magic.
Yeah,
zone.
I figured. Yeah. Okay,
This is
cool.
not. This is a hospital.
Always happy to look. I don't trust anyone here.
Yes.
And I will hold up Lana will hold up her letter. Direct orders from Nisali. We're here to talk to her to the extent that she's able.
Roll your deception.
I'll do.
Let's see that 16. That's it.
Wait. No. I'm going to add my flash of genius to this just to make double sure.
Okay.
So you get my intelligence modifiers, which is a +2. So 22.
Okay.
22.
Oh, no. She rolled high, but not that high. Okay. So again, she nods. I don't know how much she's going to be able to tell you. She's been fading pretty quickly. Just don't tire her out as she pulls the partitions and just sort of pushes them back, sort of Japanese screen style, slides them out of the way. So you can see the patient in the bed. Cat is not looking great. She looks incredibly pale. Her eyes are closed. She's lost probably 20 pounds since the last time you saw her. She's got her hands folded across herself. If she's breathing, it is very shallow.
Hey, doctor, take a look.
We'll turn to the cleric. We'll be talking to her in privacy, please. Thank you.
She stutters. Well, call me if there's any problems, I guess. She sort of scurries away and goes to sit. Not within eavesdropping distance, but, close enough that maybe. Okay, your surgeon comes forward. And he goes to touch her, and first thing Cat does is whap him in the face as he leans over her. The minute he touches her, knock that off, please.
It's for your own good. Let him do his job.
An eye opens. You guys don't look much better than I do.
That's not true. I've got this fancy new cloak.
Yeah, look at his cloak.
It's a pretty nice cloak.
He's right. He does have a fancy new cloak.
Do you guys get any smarter, or is this just the extent of it?
Awkward silence all around.
Yeah, exactly.
Stick around, then you'll find out.
Exactly. What are you doing here? How did you get in here?
We muscled our way.
Walked in.
Actually, yeah, we didn't muscle our way in. We just talked our way in.
We just walked in.
I'm impressed. Oh, it was good to see you one last time, anyway.
No.
Oh, I was talking about you, not me. I'll be fine.
Oh.
Wait, what? I'm confused.
I figure you'll blow yourselves up on some damn fooled errand one of these days.
Not today.
Well, clearly not today. So why have you talked all your way back here? What can I do?
Needs you.
I know. Something's wrong. I know.
And also, I would note that the last time that we saw you, it kind of looked like you were being tortured.
Yeah. That's a thing.
Would you like to leave?
Oh, I would love to leave.
Oh.
I think we could arrange that.
Do we still have Siren with us?
Yeah, he's trying to check her out. Yeah, he's doing his best to examine her without pissing her off. Because every time he goes to touch her, check her pulse or something, she keeps whapping him.
Could you stop hitting the doctor, please?
Yeah, we need to figure out
what he's trying to help.
I will be, or rather Hildreth will be helping Siren with the trying to handle the unruly patient. Especially because he has he's got the special box, the shoebox of drugs.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, you can go ahead and roll your medicine.
Ooh, I can do that. That's something I can do.
Yeah. You don't get to use.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you had your shoebox of drugs.
Yeah, he's got a shoebox of drugs. Ooh, that's a good roll. All right. So she is in rough shape. And she's in rough shape for several mundane reasons, things that you can actually fix.
Oh,
she's severely dehydrated. She, clearly isn't keeping food down. Like there are some very present physical things that the drugs that you have will help with. And Siren is muttering that to you as he sees your shoebox of drugs. He recognizes the herbs that you have.
Oh, good. I'm glad I have help.
Yeah, and he's also sort of positioning his body between you and the cleric so she can't actually see what you're doing.
Siren's a good guy. I like him. Let's keep him.
Yeah.
Let's keep this one, guys.
He's trying to help. So yeah, he's just kind of muttering the different concoctions that are going to work, while not upsetting Cat, who it does not like to be messed with and does not like to be hovered over, obviously. But he does kind of get her to sit up just a little bit so that you guys can give her the drugs. Well, body blocking the cleric. I'm just watching Lana's chat.
Actually, I've got a thing. Hang on. I'm going to do this. Hang on. How does this work? Real quick. Okay. I'm going to point my finger at Lana and send her a message and say, so I'm thinking on our way out, we say that Nisali has summoned Cat and we just walk her out the same way we walked in.
Way ahead of you.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So you guys came all this way just to bring me a doctor?
Well, we were planning on carrying you out.
Oh.
Sorry we didn't do it last time.
Well,
I know we're late.
No. It all serves a purpose. If you leave here with me, you start a timer. Do you know that?
The timer's already ticking.
Okay, so you know. Okay, good.
We definitely don't.
Would you like to real quick clarify what you mean by timer? Just for those of us who might need a refresher.
Timer's already clicking. It's down. We got it, but
we gotta go. Gotta go. It's time to go.
But just to make sure we're talking about the same timer.
Same timer.
I think she's talking. Well, I'll let her answer the question.
No, go ahead. What do you think?
Oh, I think she's talking about like us breaking you out of here is going to inflame tensions and make everything come to a head.
Well, that is true. That is very true. And more so than you realize. And she kind of clears her throat as she's being offered these concoctions from the from the cleric and Hildreth, respectively. If you take me out of here, Orem's gonna be real upset.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant.
But they're not gonna take their revenge out on me or you. They're gonna hit the city. I promise you.
Like hell they will, not with us around.
You don't know. That butcher, what he's been giving me won't kill me, but it will kill you. And
he's going to poison the water?
He will. I guarantee you he will.
Well, one thing at a time. We're here now. We'll break you out, then we'll go deal with that.
Also, wait, hold on. You said poison the water and the butcher. Who are we talking about?
The doctor. The surgeon. He's some sort of alchemist. I saw in his head. He's got some kind of drug. He's been using me to test it. He thinks I'm a mage, but I'm not. So it won't kill me. But it will kill every mage in the city. Even if they don't know they are one.
Motherfucker. I told you that this was going to be an issue.
Okay, how fast can you deploy this?
It'll take him a day, maybe 2.
Do you know where we can find him?
I know exactly where he is.
Okay, cool.
Perfect.
So
okay, I see an easy 2-step plan.
But he's deep within their camp.
oh,
And
That just makes it a slightly more difficult 2-step plan.
2.5-step plan.
Yeah, like a 3-step plan at most.
It just makes the killing them part more difficult and bloody, more heads, gore, limbs, all sorts of awful flying everywhere. Really, it's the same thing.
The surgeon is looking mildly like alarmed at this chain of conversation.
Don't worry, it's an enemy army. We're allowed to.
But Kat raises her hand. He leaves the camp to come here. If you leave me here, then you can get him outside the camp.
Oh.
Using yourself as bait.
Do we want to just wait at the door until he comes in and jump him?
I think they'll know.
We can't wait here while we can't just camp outside this room and wait for him, I don't think.
He doesn't treat me here. I go to a different building. They move me, and he meets me there. But it's the only time he's outside the camp.
Okay.
What will happen to you if we attack the surgeon?
I don't know.
How often does he treat you?
Every couple days. It's hard to tell time when you don't open your eyes very often.
Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Damn. Okay. Well, I guess
for no particular reason. Xylund, can I borrow your mirror?
My what?
Don't you have a fancy scrying device?
No, Kern does.
Kern does.
Ah, shit.
Hey, Kern, who's definitely here.
Kern is at the harbor, unfortunately.
Inconvenient. I'll do it the more roundabout way.
So, okay. I guess we should leave Kat here for now and just keep an eye on. How do they take you out of here? Do they take you out the front door, or is there a secret way or something?
There's another door. I don't know how they open it, but yeah, there's another door.
I'm very uninclined to walk out of here without her.
Yeah, me too, but she's making some good points here. Dang. Do we have anything we could plant on her as that we could track?
I will give her my snake coin, and I can locate object that in a pinch.
That's good. That's good. Thank you.
Look, it's useful.
Yeah.
Hey, snake coin.
Yeah. If you're able to describe anything distinctive about this guy or what he's carrying or the poison, we can also preemptively do a loop. If we can catch him at the gate before he even gets in here, I think that would be better.
Right, it would be. Although if we could catch him on the way out, then we wouldn't even have to come in here to rescue her.
Exactly.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
Well, if he's leaving with her, then we wouldn't have to come back in here again to rescue her.
I don't want any plan that relies on us having to find a secret tunnel. We will not find the secret tunnel.
We don't know it's a tunnel. We just know it's a secret door.
That's worse.
Well, we'll see how it plays out. We'll try to catch him on the way in, but if we don't, it's maybe not the end of the world. What was I going to say?
What were you going to say?
I don't remember.
That's awkward.
What are you going to do? Okay.
Oh, yeah. I remember what I was going to do. So, Kat, do you think that while you're being taken out of here, do they drug you, or do you think you'd have the opportunity to potentially use a sending stone to send a message or to keep in contact?
I think they would notice I was carrying a magical item.
Okay.
They're not stupid.
How about a rat?
Are you actually going to cast a spell, Lana?
I don't see anyone around me who I care about seeing it, so
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, locate object works perfectly.
Oh, good. Usually when I cast things related to cat, they just disappear.
Well, you can locate the coin.
Yes.
You can see the coin.
I figured the moment it went in her pocket, so to speak, it would disappear.
No, you can still locate the coin.
Perfect.
Even in her pocket.
If they take her, if where they're treating her is back where we first met her, the null magic zone, that's going to fuck things up.
But that would...
It'll help understand where she is.
Yeah.
I don't think my Elf Bay is going to work in a null magic zone.
His Elf Bay.
Yeah,
okay.
Elf
Bay. His Elf Bay.
My schmelt.
Is that related to the Schmudwell in any way?
Totally different. Legally distinct. Not in any way related.
Actually, I think that's a sandwich that they serve at a local tavern.
We can also leave someone here. I don't know about you, but I get about 4 hours of invisibility for free a day.
We could swap off. We could sneak in here. Like, we have enough ways of going invisible that
We have enough
take shifts,
sheer
couldn't we?
bullshit that we could. Yeah, that was my thought. We have plenty of ways of doing that.
Okay, let's try to keep someone invisible in this room at all times then.
Not it, I guess.
I can take it. As I said, a ridiculous amount of invisibility.
We should all walk out as a group and then maybe you should sneak back in? Or how would that work?
I'll just stay.
What about this cleric sitting right here?
What about him?
That's a good point. I can send an illusion of me out with you. But that has risks.
Now I will interject. As Davynn knows, and as I'm sure you would surmise, while this is not a null magic zone, they do have magical sensors.
Inconvenient.
So they can detect when magic is used, and while you don't know for a fact that they would be able to locate you if you were invisible, true seeing is a thing. So again, still your plan. Your spells clearly work in here as they have worked, but most temples, that's not specific to Rildis, most temples do have some sort of indication, some sort of magical sensor indication if magic is being used on their grounds.
So would any of us know how fine-tuned these sensors are? Like, would they know just when magic is cast, or would they know which magic was cast?
Well, and again, Lana makes a great point. While magical sensors are a thing, how powerful they are, you don't really know. But also, not everyone is a level 15 cleric. Even some of the higher ups are not necessarily, max level, full potential casters. Oh, in Greylock, yeah, you're going to have it's going to skew a little more towards higher powered clerics and magicians, as opposed to sort of the rural areas where level 3, level 4 makes you a god in some places. So yeah, it's difficult to know exactly what the magnitude is going to be in any given particular place. So there is a chance that you could be discovered.
I don't know. Maybe we should just stake out outside then. I mean...
No one would notice me lounging around the area.
We could also, just send someone off as a fly right now while the others kill time and try to find the secret tunnel.
I don't think it's a bad idea to just try to ambush this guy on the way in. So maybe we could ask around whoever would know the back alleys of this place. I'm thinking some kind of criminal network.
You know who would know?
Is it freaking Stanley?
No!
Oh no.
Oh God.
No, I'm just joking. I mean, yeah, he would, but I'm just just joking.
Yeah, if he's like, yeah, that's actually a good point. He's not going to make a big song and dance about coming in here. So if we could get in contact with like the Thieves Guild, or if there is such a thing in Greylock, we might stand a better chance of finding him. So he comes in here every couple of days. So when was the last time he came in to treat you?
Don't know.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you do have illegal spells to get information from a cleric. Or you
of course,
can
we could just try asking the cleric like a normal person.
You could.
That's silly.
Or again, a thieves network, or again, you have had interactions with the spy side of the Argent Order. Not necessarily Stanley, but others.
If we question the cleric, that's going to tip off everyone to what our plan is, obviously.
I could just true sight and fly around the place. It does give you the whole you can see hidden doors thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's do that.
I don't know if it'll work, but it's a start.
I think that's a good plan. I think the thieves thing is also a good plan. We can do both those things.
Okay.
Unless anyone disagrees.
Nope.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Or we could just try to get in touch with the spy network, but that involves the Argent Order again, even though they're loyalty cap.
Yeah.
I'm
uninclined to rely on any long-term social networking for this.
All right. So what's the plan?
Do you guys want to kill time while I go and see how they smuggle her out of here?
We could, while you're doing that, we could try to. I don't know how we would begin getting in touch with the Thieves Guild, or
I have no idea.
The Criminal Underground, or whatever.
Well, you could always let Sackbury run around in the city for half an hour.
No,
I'm sure she could find somebody.
Yeah.
Just shout out loudly that you're selling off the rights to another play for like a silver and wait for Stanley to appear.
That would draw his attention.
I think Stanley actually is our best route. Probably he's loyal to Cat for sure. I think, isn't he?
He's never done any. He has never done anything to make you think he wasn't.
I don't think he doesn't strike me as a
guy.
company man. Like he doesn't strike me as somebody who's going to sell us out to realtors.
No. He's.
How would that look in his plays and stuff if he betrayed his meal ticket?
He's just a weird dude. Like he has never done anything to make you think he's disloyal to Cat or disloyal to you, or anything like that. He's always just been kind of odd. So yeah, that's up to you. What you want to do. Okay, good and talk to this cleric before Plan Spider.
Don't tip him off to what we're thinking, though.
Okay, fine. I'll just do Plan Spider then.
Okay. So Lana's going to do Plan Spider. Is everybody else just going to file out?
Are you going to do Plan Spider now? Because
that was the idea while I'm already in here, and you can just kill time and I'll rejoin you in a bit.
You could
come back in later.
So you want us to kill time right here while you run around the place doing Plan Spider?
Or you can go out if you have free will.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just trying to understand the plan. Because if we leave without you, that looks pretty bad.
Yeah, that's why I was gonna incline to say kill time. That way, I'm already, I can just begin from the interior.
Okay. So are you just gonna go spider form like in the middle of the room, or?
I was under the impression we were like out of sight of our little.
You kind of are again, but it's mostly through body blocking kind of thing. Like you.
Oh, that's not great.
Just a counterpoint to this plan, I think there is a time situation. Like they're not going to let us just stand in here indefinitely.
That's fair. Fine. I'll just spider back in the moment we leave.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So y'all decide to head out?
Yeah.
That we do.
Okay. So the cleric frets. It goes to replace everything as you leave. The surgeon that you're traveling with looks mildly disturbed, but is kind of going with the plan. So you guys are allowed to, obviously, exit the secure ward and exit the clinic without being harassed at all. So Lana wants to do Plan Spider.
Yep.
Okay.
I think the odds of someone running around with True Sight are low enough that I'm willing to risk it.
Okay.
At least within that 1 hour.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So, while Lana is doing Plan Spider, what do the rest of you want to do?
Go talk to Stanley, maybe?
Head down to see Stanley?
Yeah.
All right.
Good luck. I have a great job.
When do we get to see our puppet show?
After this.
Okay.
Yes, we can probably find out from Stanley too.
Okay.
Is he? Do you think
So-
he's writing the puppet shows too, or?
There's no way he doesn't have a cut.
That's true. That's true.
They probably went to him being like, so we're going to do this and you can't stop us. And then they walked out being like, why did we decide to give him 50%?
Probably.
Okay.
Fucking Stanley.
So, Lana, I'll go ahead and resolve your Plan Spider before we close up for the day, because talking to Stanley is always a long process. So we'll hold off on talking to Stanley until next time. Just cause it's already 4:45. But in doing Plan Spider, there is an obscured. It's a door. It's an actual like first floor kind of door. It doesn't lead into a tunnel or anything. It leads out the back of the clinic itself. So it's not really obscured. It's just the door itself that's not
Just a
obvious.
literal back door.
It's literally a back door. It's just obscured by
Cool.
magic. Yeah, you just can't see it.
All right, so we can park someone here without too much trouble.
Yes, you don't. Yeah, there's no underground structure or anything like that. It literally just leads into the back of the clinic. And behind the clinic, there are several other buildings as part of the complex of Rildis. They're all within the walls of Rildis. So there are a couple of places where they might be taking her that are in fairly close proximity.
That's where we should nab him then, after he's taken Cat out, so we don't have to. So we have plausible deniability for disappearance, I guess. Although, who gives a shit at this point? They're a bunch of assholes.
Yeah, I think the main goal is just to get Poison Man off the table.
Yeah.
I'll wait here. Go get swindled by Stanley.
Okay, so we will wrap up today's adventure with our intrepid crew going to get swindled by Stanley.
Yay!
Yay.
Much was accomplished, huzzah! And when we meet up next session, we shall see the exciting conclusion of where is the next puppet show.
Yay!
We're going to go face our arch nemesis for the
Yeah.
campaign.
Yeah.
The only person who has beaten us 3 times.
One the only.
And I love him though. He thinks you're great. That's the funny part.
Uh,
And we hate him so much.
well, if he just cut us in, I mean, god damn it.
God damn it.
We have so much money. We don't need him.
That's true. You guys are, fully fledged professional adventurers. You don't
I have
really.
3,000 gold in my bag. Do you know how weird it is to come back to that?
Yeah, you have a lot of money.
It's more the principle of the
welcome.
thing. Also, it's our intellectual property. I had plans for our adventures. I was going to turn them into. He stole my
You
idea.
can still. Did you write away the ability to? I think you still can. There can be 2,
I guess.
You can.
unless you signed away your rights to your
No.
own story.
No.
That'd be weird.
Are you sure? That would be funny.
Stanley thing to do.
Are you? Yeah, I guess you do have to ask. Are you sure when you're talking to Stanley? You might have given him soul.
You have to ask, are you sure when you're talking to Xylund?
That's also true for very different reasons. All right. Well, I'm glad you guys could make it. I'm glad you could be here, Noel. Welcome back.
Glad to be back. I'm sorry I'm so quiet. quiet.
No, you're
No, it's
okay. No, we're glad to have you, and I hope you can make it next session.
Mhm.
I, as of now, can. I'm just waiting for something to show up. That's
Oh yeah,
be
I
true.
know.
But right now, I can.
Okay. Well, hopefully that trend will continue, and we can
I
get
really
Sid
hope
and
so. It's been lovely to be back.
Next back in here too. Yeah,
Who?
so we can all go talk to Stanley together.
I stepped out of that conversation.
Yes, I saw you
I want
bailed.
whatever result happens
Which-
to be on them.
Again, the funniest part: the best talker is not going to talk to Stanley. You're leaving the
That
people
was intentional. It was much funnier.
lower
to have me there.
charisma and wisdom scores to talk to Stanley. Oh, I love it. I
It'll be
absolutely
fine.
love it. It'll
This
be
would
fine.
too easy if we just used the plus 15 everywhere.
That is true.
That's
Although
my justification. That's
it's
me.
served you well today.
Yes.
Served you
Ma'am.
well. Oh yeah, ma'am. I was waiting for the
Ma'am.
ma'am. Ma'am, tell us what's in your wagon, ma'am. That was hilarious. All right. I'm gonna go get some supper, but thank you guys. And we will see you next session, hopefully.
Yep.
See y'all.
All right.